Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. What's up, guys? Good morning. How's everybody feeling? Ugh. It's chilly here this morning for a change. It was all steamy yesterday. Now it's all chilly. What's happening? What's happening? I got a quick intro for you, and then we're going to update the stories we covered this week. Not many updates in the tank explosion in Washington State, but enough to mention. There was another press conference, and I think we'll start out with that. But first, let's have a song. Everybody settle in. Please hit the thumbs up. Thanks for being here. I think I'm going to go with my old intro this morning.
Camera thief, take pictures, run like the parallel stitches, attach my feet to the path I beat, teach myself to keep the answers brief, gnash my teeth like the last to feast, imagine me on that abandoned beach, sand and sea as if the jazz was free, I'm ice cream mixed with gasoline, direct attention to the craftsmanship, neglect to mention that the past'll stick like initials carved in the concrete, like the tattoo that hides on your mommy. I still kick it with angels. The difference is instead of the bar, I'm at my kitchen table. The starlight shines through the glass, but you feel safe underneath that mask. Ferris wheel, give rides. The scars healed in time to get high. Lock the doors and hide the keys. Let's go describe how to climb a tree. Don't sign the lease, just cop a corner for you to curl up and try to sleep. Those cheap police won't find my wings. I keep my dreams inside my dreams. And if I had a time machine, I'd probably use it like a vacuum and try to clean. It kinda seems quite more than a handful of these regrets have been circumstantial. Now give me all the cash out the drawer, touch that mustache down on the floor, and I'll be in court holding a pitchfork before I let the contest outlast the sport. Pocket watch, impatient, find a mate then make the migration. Break the rules but first break the rulers and keep it moving like a rumor. I don't need to defend my defensiveness. I keep to myself, my family, and friendships. I got enough people I could disappoint. If you disagree, I think you missed the point. Now go ahead and grab a chair. Let me tell you about the last few years. Pulled out a sack full of Samson's hair and put it on the dash like a dancing bear. I wrote you a horoscope. It won't fit on this post-it note, but if I had to sum it up into a shorter quote, it goes, fuck it, you might as well row that boat.
Alrighty then. What's up, everybody? Good morning. What's going on out there? So like I said, some updates. A couple of the victims were recovered from the wreckage last night. So there's a press conference. I think starting there would be the best thing to do. And I've got a couple other stories for you. Let me look at chat and see who's here quickly. Oh, where's my background music? There it is. There we go. I just woke up and opened my phone and was looking to see what was going on, and I saw Jay was live, and I was like, "What is happening?" I was like, "Oh yeah, she went to CrimeCon, so she's on the West Coast time." I was like, "Damn, dude, it was live at 4:00 in the morning." Now I get it. Now I understand. I was very confused. Whispering in the Shadows was the first one here. TLC is me. Good morning. Good morning, Rod. What's up, my dude? The Spudler's in the house. Good morning. Good morning. Marie, aka Purple Freak, thanks for being here. And Chicana Army Brad is back with us. Tracy with an E. I don't know if all of you are familiar with this case, so I'll just give you a quick summary in case you weren't here for the original live streams. We've been following this all week. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. It's another 30-minute press conference, but I think it's definitely worth watching the whole thing. Let me pull that up here. Well, I just had it. Let's see here. There's actually some footage that's been recovered after of the moments after the implosion right in that area. They're pretty interesting. I did look to make sure everything was. They're not going to show us anything graphic, so it was on the local news, so I'm not too concerned about it. But some of these local stations, you have to watch it ahead of time, or else they'll just traumatize you. Let's see here. There we go. See, Conan O'Brien did a funny graduation speech. I might show you that. I might show that to you at the end. All right, here it is here. And this is from a local Portland, Oregon news affiliate. I think this is the first time we're going to hear from the EPA guys themselves at this press conference. Good morning, Bo Girl. Good to see you. How are you? So we'll look at the press conference first, and then we'll look into there's some footage of the aftermath of first responders and things arriving at the scene. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. Okay, before I get into the press conference, I'll just read this briefing. It says, the confirmed death toll rose to 8 late Thursday after crews recovered the remains of 6 additional workers. The incident occurred during a shift change, and the recovery workers had been in the area where they congregated to receive their daily assignments. 3 workers remain unaccounted for and are presumed dead, which would bring the total number of fatalities to 11. 8 people were injured in the blast, including a responding firefighter who has since been released from the hospital. That's good news. The recovery, well, that's a good summation. I'm gonna just let the press conference speak for itself. Hopefully, it looks like they're in a new setting, new microphones. So we had really good luck with their first 2 press conferences. They were repeating the question back to the askers. So hopefully that remains the same here. Let me get this in a position that I like. And there we go. Perfect. All right, guys, please hit the thumbs up, and thanks again for being here. Good morning, Headstones. What's up? What's happening?
Acknowledge the tremendous impact.
I love when they start a press conference mid-sentence. It's my favorite. All right, let's see here. Yeah, it's really bad news. So keep the first responders in your prayers, as of course the victims' families. No one, I mean, there's no good way to go, but to go while you're at work, there's something more, I don't know. It's offensive to me somehow, but small community there, Longview, Washington. That particular facility has been in operation since 1953, so it's been a source of income since then for the locals there. So this is a terrible accident. Actually, in fact, it's the most severe industrial accident in Washington in many years. Spudler says, I'm working and listening in. Oh, thank you. But I wanted to say that I listened to the end of your live about this yesterday, and I thought it was really good that you respect the ID of the missing. Yeah, I don't see any value in that, and you know what else you'll find out about me? Say, I promised myself I wouldn't cover cases with quote unquote victims per se. I mean, obviously there are victims in this case, of bad maintenance and maybe a shoddy company, but I just anything where it's like I won't be covering murders or kidnap. That's not what I'm going to do. There's enough people doing that excitable stuff. I can give you the story, and if you're bloodthirsty, you could go somewhere else and get it, because I don't want to, especially since I'm doing this first thing in the morning, man. I'm not trying to wreck my existence, to appease to a couple of vultures. But thank you so much for noticing, Spudler. I am trying to do it the right way here. So this is going to be kind of dry, and most of this is redundant from what we've already heard, but I think it's important to stay on top of this. And then I have a couple other stories to check in with as well. I showed you the UFC fight at the White House. There's been some real fallout for that. I know that's not really news per se, but I'm locked onto it because I'm personally offended that we're having we shouldn't be doing that. Our country's at war. We shouldn't be celebrating and having a bunch of grown men oiled up rolling around on the White House lawn. I think it's grossly inappropriate. I think it's a massive fucking security risk. It makes no sense. I mean, it's not for the fans anyways. It's a private birthday party for our president. So none of this makes sense, dude. I hate it so much. Hey, it's my 80th birthday. Get a bunch of men oiled up in the yard. Like, what is happening right now, dude? I just don't understand it. We got to do better. I mean, we know the names of all the UFC fighters that are going to fight on the White House lawn, but we don't know the name of the 13 fucking people that died in Iran. Excuse my language. Let's get it going, guys.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brad Hannig, Hannig. I am the fire chief for Longview Fire Department. Before providing my updates today, I want to again acknowledge...
I'm going to try to not be cursing in the morning, so I apologize for that. But man, I tell you what, nothing, it just gets my goat, man. It gets my goat.
Acknowledge the tremendous impact this incident continues to have on victims, families, co-workers, responders, and the broader community. For a victim update, we can confirm that 6 of the 9 individuals have been recovered, and we continue working with the coroner to notify families. Recovery efforts continue. The priority is ensuring responder safety while treating every victim with the greatest dignity, care, and respect possible. As individuals are recovered from the site, they undergo decontamination before being transported to the Cowlitz County Coroner's Office for identification and family notification.
I heard a report of well, you probably caught it yesterday, but reports of the first responders' boots melting from the chemicals. Like, how terrifying would that be?
We are incredibly humbled by the outpouring of support from the community for our first responders and the affected families. We know many people want to help and are looking for ways to contribute. Our team is currently working to coordinate verified donation and support channels, and we will share that information with the community as soon as it becomes available. This continues to be an active and hazardous recovery environment. I want to make that clear that we are working diligently, and crews have from the beginning to have the best outcome, to save as many as they possibly could and recover all of the victims as soon as possible. I'll turn things over to Battalion Chief Matt Amos from the Longview Fire Department, who has been over our operation. Matt?
Thank you, Chief. Thank you for being here. My name's Matt Amos, M-A-T-T-A-M-O-S. I'm the Battalion Chief from Longview Fire Department. I've been somewhat with boots on the ground in the operation. As an operational update, we still have numerous local, regional, state, and federal agencies continuing to work together alongside all the facility personnel. We're maintaining minimal activity around the tank. It still remains the same condition as yesterday after we flew the area with drones and did visual inspections with our engineer partners here on site. We continue to use an exclusion zone around that tank. We're actively working outside that area for recovery of our victims. We don't anticipate the tank to be a risk at this time for where we're working or for future spills. For us, this continues to be incredibly difficult for all of us here and also everyone involved. We appreciate the professionalism of all of our responders that are working this operation and the patience that's been shown by the community.
I'm sorry for the background noise on their mics. There's nothing I can do about that. It sounds like someone shoveling. Just to give you an idea, this town, Longview, Washington, is on the southern border of Washington, butts right up against Oregon. Approximately 38,000 people live in this community, and as you can see by the side, I'll show a photo of the facility itself. It's a massive facility in a town of 38,000 people. I'm sure many of them work there. So this is it's brutal. It's just flat out brutal. I really hope they get to the bottom of this. Obviously, it's not going to help those who lost their life here, but you know, at least we can use it to study to prohibit it from occurring in the future. Hopefully.
I'm going to hand this over to Brooks Stanfield. He's our Emergency Protection Agency coordinator.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brooks Stanfield, Brooks Stanfield. I'm a federal on-scene coordinator with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. In addition to the really critical, complicated work of recovering the workers of this facility safely, this incident command is also focused on protecting human health and the environment. I have the privilege to represent the United States Environmental Protection Agency and work alongside of our partners at the Washington Department of Ecology, members of the Cowlitz Indian Tribe, the Yakama Nation, and several other state, federal, and local agencies, including the Coast Guard, the City of Longview, the Cowlitz Dike Improvement District, just to name a few. We're all working very hard to ensure that the health and environment of this community is protected as we manage this delicate operation here on the plant facility. So I'm going to talk about how we're doing this in a couple of ways, two to three main focus areas of this work. So first of all, I'll start with the easy part, which is air quality. We got here on Tuesday, EPA arrived and immediately began deploying air monitors to make sure that the air, both on-site and migrating off-site, was safe for the community to breathe. The main contaminant we were concerned with was hydrogen sulfide. Knowing what we know about this facility and the contaminants involved, I can report to you we've been monitoring 24 hours a day since we arrived here, and not only have we not seen any exceedances of health criteria, we have not.
I went ahead and gifted a couple memberships. I don't get those fancy free memberships to give away, so I just gifted them myself. It looks like they went to Scotty B. Pimpin'. What's up, my dude? I haven't seen him in a while. Raising Cane, Just Me Sunshine, and True Psych Ward. Oh, good. Pleasant. Nice one. Nobody I've ever heard of except Scotty B. Pimpin'. Anyways. I like this guy. He looks like he takes his work seriously.
Actually had a detection of hydrogen sulfide or any of the other air contaminants we might have encountered. So that's really good news. But we will continue on with that air monitoring operation for the foreseeable future. The other main human health and environmental issue that we...
Wait, no, Tara got one. I think she's in here too. How cool is that? That's good. That doesn't happen. It's good luck. So
we are managing and dedicating a lot of resources toward is the result of the discharge of high pH caustic liquid from the facility through the storm drain and into the ditch on the north side of Industrial Way here, just across the street. So obviously there was a large amount of volume that was released from the tanks in addition to fire water that entered into a storm drain. It ended up discharging into this industrial ditch, or the ditch on the north side of Industrial Way.
I do have some graphics of the area that show how the water flow is in the way they have containment ditches. I'll show all of that to you. But as we know yesterday, and they're really not going to talk about this until they get, have hard numbers to show people. But many of these chemicals did in fact spill into the Columbia River. So nothing good.
That ditch is connected to a dike network that moves throughout the entire community of Longview.
You're welcome, Tara. Sorry, I'm still waking up, so I swear, I thought I saw you here. So, yep, welcome aboard.
Literally runs through people's backyards. People have access to it. Dogs can swim in it. It's obviously something where there is a risk for people to come in contact with that liquid if we don't prevent them from doing so. So in the initial days, we saw elevated pH levels. That would have been Tuesday. We saw elevated pH levels in the ditch, mostly localized to the outfall near the facility, but over time we saw that pH migrating through the system. One major concern we have with this, besides the immediate health or safety of...
I wanted to tell you guys too, and I'll probably either drop a link here or put it on my community wall. I did some research as to this white liquor, whatever this chemical was. I'd never heard of it before, but geez, I found a YouTuber that has a science channel, and he was doing experiments with it. I didn't see any real value to show it here. It's just basically, he's doing experiments. He has, vats of this liquid, and he's melting things in it. I didn't think that was appropriate for a live stream, with loss of life. But if you are interested in that, I'll share the link. It is pretty interesting. I'd never heard of this before. It's actually a very common chemical, but so dangerous, man.
Residents is that this ditch sits on top of a sole source aquifer and a well field where the city of Longview gets its primary drinking water source from. So in consultation with the utilities here, we've been developing a plan to flush that high pH liquid away from that well field over the last couple of days. We began those operations yesterday. That strategy involves two main parts, which one is drawing fresh water from the Cowlitz River on the east side of this network and pushing the water west by diluting and flooding that and flushing that water.
And I do have graphics to show you of this as well. Smother says I bet it's a carcinogen. Well, it says it's not generally classified as a carcinogen. Instead, its primary danger is its extreme caustic nature, instant chemical burns, tissue damage upon contact. And like I said, when the first responders were pulling up, their boots were melting. What does it take to melt a compound rubber boot? I have no idea. Well, I have some idea.
Water to the west. At the same time, we are opening up 2 discharge pumps that discharge water to the Columbia River on the west side of this network. They are pulling that water to the west and discharging water to the Columbia River. So this is primarily an effort to get that water away from the drinking water wells. My colleague here, Chris Collins from the city of Longview, can speak to the cleanliness of the water and the safety of the water to drink. He's going to tell you that it is indeed safe to drink, and they're monitoring it very diligently, but it's something that we don't want to risk. So we're taking this threat seriously and pushing this water to the west. As we push it to the west, we are also...
I will tell you though, Spudler, it says here, toxic vapors, if heated or mixed with water, it can release hydrogen sulfide gas, which is toxic and has a strong rotten egg smell. Good morning, Yelva Bjarson. Let's see. Did you see the brown bear of Alaska bush people put on his TikTok yesterday that his brother Matt took his life? No, I don't even know who any of those people are, but I'll take a note and look at it. Good morning, DJW, and congratulations again, Tara, on that membership. Let's see. Troopers, good morning. Good to see you. Sorry if I missed anybody. I'm locked in here.
Monitoring the pH of that water to make sure that any water
This press conference is about 20 minutes longer in duration, and we'll watch the whole thing.
that does get discharged to the Columbia River is in compliance with basically neutral water standards. We're trying to get as below a pH of 9 to get it to a normal pH that we would see in this system. Right now, the last report we got was that the two discharge points, one was discharging water at a pH of 7, and the other was water at a pH of 8.5. We're going to continue monitoring that. If we hit a pH of 9, we have some additional strategies we can employ to bring that pH down. I think the only other thing I want to say is that the ditches, we are monitoring those. There are still areas with elevated pH in the water there, and we are continuing to tell people to stay away and stay out of those ditches and dikes. And the last thing is that if people want more information, the Washington Department of Ecology has set up an incident website where you can get regular updates. The easiest way to locate that website is by going to Washington Department of Ecology's Facebook page. So with that, I'll hand the microphone over to Chris Collins with the City of Longview.
Thank you, Brooks. Hi, my name is Chris Collins, ChrisCollins. I'm the Public Works Director and the Assistant City Manager for the City of Longview. First thing I want to make sure the state is Longview's water is safe. There is no cause for concerns. As Brooke mentions, we were successfully able to divert all of the contaminated water away from our wellhead protection area, which is our point of concern or point of potential concern. However, even then, it's not a concern today because our wells are drawn from aquifer that is approximately 200 feet deep, that is charged by the Columbia River, not necessarily charged by surface waters. So our well is very protected from any sort of surface environmental concerns. That said, the water that you were drinking before this incident is the same water you're drinking today. Our plant is extremely complex, but it's extremely safe, and there are built-in redundancies that the plant will shut down way before any contaminants would enter into the public drinking water system. So we've also, in addition to the efforts that Brooks mentioned,
just to give you an idea as well, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say conspiracy, but there's a lot of conversation about what the employees who were on duty were up to. Rumors of people maybe napping in a break room. I don't know. There's no way for me to substantiate any of that. But I just want to let you know what some people are talking about. I don't think that had anything to do with, the integrity of this tank. But it's possible maybe somebody missed a warning sign, some type of alert. But I mean, we can't play Monday morning quarterback. I'm not going to discredit people because, we don't know the whole story. We weren't there, but I have confidence that these investigators will get to the bottom of it.
With the flushing and the moving of the water, we are also opening a lot of fire hydrants. So the community may see us flushing water into the street that drains into the sloughs. That is a secondary method that we are utilizing to add water to the sloughs, both for dilution as well as to move the water in the direction, the contaminated water in the direction that we want it to move. As we do this and as the water is moving throughout the system, you may smell some odors coming from that material because it is, as it mixes with lower pH water, it will off-gas. We, as the Environmental Protection Agency, does have monitors throughout the city to detect for any potential hazards, and there has been no threats or no concerns at this time. With that, I will hand it over to Anna, who will take any questions.
Good afternoon. I'm Anna Eisenman, PIO for this incident with the Department of Ecology. I'm going to facilitate the Q&A. We have about 20 minutes for questions. I'm going to move left to right. If you could just say your name and the outlet that you're with. Yes.
Gunby Verma, K2 News. My colleague and I went across the facility to the Columbia River and we smelled a very strong stench. Is it safe for people to get into the Columbia River? How far has the white liquor gotten? And what are the impacts?
I see some questions in the chat. I was just going to leave them because many of them are going to be answered in this press conference. So if they're not answered in this, ask me and I'll do my best to figure it out for you. Looking for scapegoats, in my opinion. Yeah, a larger view of this facility, it doesn't make sense that they don't have footage of it. But following this, I'm going to show you some of the body cam footage from the first responders, and I assure you, it's pretty gnarly. But there's nothing graphic to be concerned about.
On the ecosystem, short and long term, even though water is being flushed into that ecosystem.
I'm going to hand this one off to our to Brooks here.
You have to keep in mind that, when normal people like you and I, when there's an event where people lose their lives, we just we feel bad for people's loss. We hope best for the families. But when it's something like this, you have to. Unfortunately, the part of humanity is potentially each one of these families are going to be suing individually. So the footage of the breach of the tank and all of this becomes very important. So it's insurance companies oftentimes get more information initially than the first responders do. It's out of control. They'll literally fly agents in to, assess the situation and find out how many millions of dollars they're going to be held liable for. So good morning, tennis ball Timmy. I don't have much love for lawyers. Let's see. It's D'Amico. Good to see you. I feel like it's been a while. Good morning, Senator Chat. Hope everyone is well. I'll be listening. I am well. I hope you are too.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Let's see if I can remember. There were several parts to it. For one, it's our understanding that there was a little bit of white liquor that reached the Columbia River in the first minutes of the response, but that outfall where that white liquor escaped was immediately shut off. So our understanding, and we don't know the exact volume that was released, but our understanding was it was very limited in the initial hour of the incident. It is safe to swim and fish in the Columbia River right now. There are no warnings or advisories at this time. So, did I get all of your questions?
What are the short-term and long-term impacts of the contamination that's already occurred in slough water and wherever else?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell when you're really just focused on containment first and protecting people. But we understand the short-term impacts when you're talking about a caustic liquid, a liquid with high pH, is that it's going to be deadly with fish. And we have observed that there are some dead fish in the ditch network. We're seeing that, and we expect to see more of it. Long term, we're evaluating that right now with some of our fish and wildlife agencies.
I've been trying to figure this out because they mentioned dead fish yesterday as well. I'm not sure if they have. I don't know. This is kind of strange, but I'm not sure if those fish are there specifically to detect leaks. Oftentimes you'll see that, it goes all the way back to the canary in a coal mine type of situation. Oftentimes, local animal life is the first detection that something's going on. If it misses, if it evades the senses of those on duty there. But I couldn't find anything to confirm that. It seems kind of strange. I'll show you these ditches. They don't look like they'd be big enough to have carp in them, but I guess carp are just big goldfish anyways. I don't know for sure. It's strange to me.
To see what that might be. I think we believe that.
Oh, what happened?
Impact.
Uh-oh.
But we
that wasn't me. Their stuff's buffering.
We may not know everything. We're still looking at a couple of. We don't know have all the answers at this time.
I spent almost an hour and a half trying to figure out what year that tank was built, and I just couldn't find it. Of course, it'll be on the records of the company, but like I said, we all know that stuff that all goes to the insurance company. We're going to follow this all the way to any kind of settlements that are made, because this is, it may not be a big deal to everyone, but for these poor folks of Longview, Washington, this is a catastrophe.
Quick follow-up. What's the baseline pH for Columbia?
What is the baseline pH for the Columbia?
About 7.
About 7? It's about 7. Thank you. I thought it was 7.
Yes, please.
John Capel, ABC News. You've talked about recovering 6 bodies. What's the process, the difficulties, and likelihood of recovering?
So, if you repeat the question one more time,
So
it
you-
was.
Sure. John Capel, ABC News. You've talked about recovering 6 bodies. What is the process, likelihood, and difficulties of recovering the other 3?
Right now, the difficulty, the scene is very complex. It still continues to be a highly complex industrial hazard. We are continuously locking out, tagging out, and isolating hazardous conditions for us as we make entries in and recover victims, and pre-planning for the next time that we make entries. It's very labor intensive and it takes a lot of personnel, and so we can only make entries into these areas so many times in a day, and it's very few. We are confident we're going to move forward. I feel we're making good advancements with being able to recover 6 so far, and after this press conference we'll continue our recovery efforts for the rest of our operational period.
Any likelihood you will be able to recover?
I'm not sure that I can answer that. We are slowly working our way into this scene from the way we've described it in the earlier as sort of a blast site or a site or a catastrophic event has happened. So we're slowly making our way through that as it's safe for responders to get further into the scene.
As we've talked to all, this might again. But what has communication been like for those families of those who are still missing or unrecovered? We've heard from some that are navigating a lot of this.
Thank you so much, Chicano Army Brat. I very, very much appreciate that. Drop a doody on it. It says, enjoying your morning news coverage. Yes, Monday through Friday. So I'm going to try to set up a schedule Monday through Friday. It's going to be 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock each morning with, breaking news around the world. I hope to try to work a system out. Like I said, this is an experiment for me. I'm trying to tune it up and, find the sweet spot. So bear with me while I do that. So basically Monday through Thursday, I'll be presenting a bunch of cases, breaking news. And then on Friday, what we'll do is we'll recap everything, any updates in those cases. So Monday through Thursday, breaking news stories. And then Friday, today, we'll take the whole live stream here after this, and we'll just kind of resolve all the cases that we looked at during the week. There were quite a few. Like I said, the most interesting one is the UFC fight at the White House. It's ridiculous. Even Joe Rogan himself, who's friends with Dana White, who runs the UFC, is just like, this is a terrible idea. We're gonna have these men fight in June under lights in Washington, D.C. And the scheduled date of the bout is like June 3rd or something like that. Well, if you look at June 3rd last year, it was 100 degrees. So you're going to put these guys, first of all, half of these guys are dehydrated to cut to make weight, and you're going to put them under halogen lights in a backyard in Washington, D.C., where they're just going to get eaten alive by mosquitoes. Even if I did support having an event at the White House during wartime, it wouldn't be this. It makes no sense. Could you imagine having a guy in a headlock and mosquitoes are like, is that buzz in your ear? It makes no sense at all. A couple of the UFC fighters as well have been very vocal. They're like, I'm not going to the White House. I'm not going to go dance with the Epstein class. It's becoming a big ordeal, which is good. People should be pushing back. June 14th. Thank you. Anyways, we'll talk about that here after. I do have a small news clip of the scene soon after the implosion of the tank occurred. It's chaotic. It almost looks like wartime. But I did double check to make sure it wasn't so graphic.
So earlier today, I know that they've been meeting with the families on a regular basis at the AEW PPW hall. to update them as soon as possible, to give them the notifications. I know the coroner's office is working diligent and trying to make sure that they get the information as soon as possible. So I think that communication has been pretty effective for the families. We're working, we always can do better with communication. We're working diligently to ensure that every message we give is accurate and timely and appropriate, and they're notified first. That's the objective.
Evan Haskins with KGW News, probably you again as well, and it's maybe sound redundant, but with Recovery of 6, 2 said confirmed fatalities yesterday. Total numbers is 8, right, of confirmed fatalities. Just want to make sure we have the correct number.
I believe that's accurate, yes.
Okay. Do you have visuals on the other 3, or are they outside of your view because of the limited scope you're able to see? I want to speak to that.
Yeah, in reference to the remaining 3 that we're trying to find, they're just outside of our, as far as we've made entry for today, and what our scope is for that time being to that 2 o'clock hour when we left that, when I left that scenario. So our crews are rehabbing.
I kind of zoned out for a second, so I'm not sure if they mentioned it, but the speed of the recovery of these victims has been very slow and intentional. It's frustrating some of the families, but at the same time, it's just necessary for the conditions that they're operating in. So by everything that I could gather, everyone is doing what they need to do. Obviously, a lot of people feel like it's too little, too late, but like I said, we can't do anything except try to make it safer for the people tomorrow.
Right now, they have to decontaminate every time that they leave that area because of the hazards that are still there, and then they should be rested and ready for me when we go back, and then we will explore further in to the scene.
Later tonight?
As soon as we're done here.
Relatedly, Aaron West with the New York Times. I was wondering, are you able to access the site, and that's why you're not able to recover the missing identities, or is it because they've been is it the toxicity of the site itself?
It's the industrial hazards. We run into electrical hazards, hazardous materials. We have collapse. We talked about the tank and a zone we've created outside of that we feel comfortable working in, so we don't get injured from if there was some other sort of failure. And so we work with subject matter experts, the engineers, for example, to determine buildings are safe that have damage to them for us to access. So we have to go in, videotape, look at those, give those to engineers to say it's safe for us to go inside of those, or just the hazmat in general. It's already complex to begin with, and when you put a toxic chemical involved, it makes it even more difficult for us.
Gotcha. And I'm also curious, is the plant operations still, what are the status of the actual employees of the plant? Are they still being paid?
I don't know that I'm going to get into that, but I will say that on an industrial site. Oh, I'm sorry, Greg. Does somebody want to speak to that? Brian?
Again, Brian Wood, Director of Support Services, Nippon Dynawave. I think I heard the question, but could you repeat it, please?
Sure. I was wondering what the status of the plant operations are as they are currently, and if workers are still there and being paid, or if it's completely shut down, and kind of what that looks like.
So after the event,
I've been curious about that too. I'd assume that OSHA just shut the whole place down.
we orderly shut down the pulp mill and did that in a way that allows it to be safely shut down. We are currently operating some critical infrastructure, including the effluent treatment system, with a minimum staffing. We've made arrangements to pay people who are not working today because of this incident, and will continue to do so, and make further decisions as we go forward. But right now, critical infrastructure, specifically the effluent treatment system, is working and is being staffed.
And one more related question, I'm sorry. Is there a family assistance center set up, or is like mental health resources being provided for the employees?
I know we have worked closely with AWPPW to provide an assistance and reunification center. We have family assistance available as a routine part of our efforts and our work here on the site.
I see. Thank you.
If I may follow up on that, we've been getting calls and emails from people saying public safety has been an issue at this plant. Is that a fair assessment?
She asked. She said they've been getting calls that public safety has been an issue at the plant. Very pointed question. Let's see how he handles it.
We work in a highly hazardous atmosphere and a highly hazardous industry. We approach it with the utmost care in everything that we do. I'll let the facts speak for themselves.
Thank you. We're down to our last couple minutes, and I want to make sure that we have some local media have a chance here. If we could jump over to this side, please.
Where exactly?
I'm sorry, guys. I could not hear it. He said the question was where exactly, or why exactly? I'm sorry. Hopefully, this man will repeat the question.
I mean, the question was where exactly were the 6 bodies found, and the 6 bodies were found in the workers' area. As we talked before, this was at a shift change, and so it was an area for where they would congregate in the mornings before they would go where they would assemble, find out their assignments, and go to their workplace. And so that's where they are.
Dan Griffin with Fox 13 in Seattle. Curious if you could give us some insights into how many people are on well water here for one, and then what you would say to people who live along the city's network there, where that water used to be elevated pH levels, who may be concerned that this was even anywhere near their house in the first place.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So the city's regional water treatment plant services approximately 65,000 people, including residents of the city of Longview, neighboring jurisdiction, which is Beacon Hill Water Sewer District, and some unincorporated Cowlitz County residents that are on the city of Longview's water system. So the ditches, as Brooke stated earlier, literally run through people's backyards in some cases. I don't know the exact number of households that are adjacent to those ditches, but it is a fairly large number.
And so what would you say to people who live in those homes who have this come through?
Keep away from the water. Don't let your pets swim in it until we give the go-ahead, which we hope to do soon. And you may smell some odors that smell like rotten eggs, which is off-gassing or potential off-gassing of the material.
But were they notified that this was even behind or near their homes?
As much as we can, through all of the media outlets, through the yes.
If someone accidentally falls into one of these creeks, what should they do?
Wash off as quick as possible. Yeah.
There's no risk of them getting chemical burns.
I would wash off and then seek medical attention just to be safe.
Probably for the EPA. We found that this facility has previous violations from including your agents.
I just wanted to be clear about the number of victims here because the way they're describing the numbers makes it a little bit confusing. 3 workers still remain unaccounted for and are presumed perished, which will bring the total number of fatalities to 11. Just to make that clear. I think they're certain by now that the three unrecovered victims are no longer with us.
Is that something that you're taking into consideration as you address all this or investigate?
Well, the EPA has several different programs that interface with this facility, and there is a program that mostly focuses on the tanks containing chlorine gas and the way that they safely manage those. We did talk with the inspectors from that program as we mobilized down here to both understand where they were in proximity with this operation to make sure that they weren't involved or there weren't any safety issues associated with that. But I didn't really go into past inspections, safety violations, or anything because it really didn't have anything to do with this response. Our focus really...
There is, quite a long list of fines levied against this company, as well as, like the one of the media personnel said there. There have been rumors about unsafe conditions there, but there's no way for me to substantiate that, so I'm just going to steer clear of that. But if that does come to light, I certainly will do a bit about that.
Right now is mitigating the hazards, and so I really can't speak any further to past inspections, but there will be some follow-up investigations by other programs in my agency and other agencies.
On mitigating the hazards, why is dilution the best strategy? Are there other ways to contain the white liquor?
Well, containment is the first best strategy, and we are doing that on the site to make sure that no additional white liquor makes it off the site into the ditch. So you're right. Containment is the best strategy first.
No, unfortunately, troopers, there's still 3 workers that are unaccounted for. That they're still very deliberately, slowly searching the wreckage. So yeah, it's just terrible. But yes, three people still left unaccounted for.
And we're doing that. But now we know that we already have white liquor in the ditches, right? So what is it? What are our options there? And they're really flushing, diluting, and if we need to, if we start to see sustained pH levels above the levels we want, we can do some neutralization using some basic acids to bring that pH down in a safe way.
Has there been any headway into investigating what caused this or any heating period?
No, and that's not my role as an EPA emergency responder. We do have members of the Chemical Safety Board on site, as well as the Washington Department of Labor and Industries, and they are the ones that are getting ready and already beginning an investigation and getting ready for when the interior part of this plant is safe for them to enter and begin their investigation.
We have time for 1 or 2 more questions.
Should we be expecting more updates in the coming days? Are you going to do this again tomorrow over the press conference, or what's the...
Yes, the current plan, we will be releasing an additional press release tonight around 5:30. There will also be another press conference tomorrow. The time of that will be determined at a later time, but we'll send a media alert out when that's scheduled.
What's the status of the people?
Let's see. It's just going on 5 a.m. in Washington, so I wouldn't expect another press conference update until at least lunchtime.
Who are hospitalized at any of their kind of thing?
This will be our last question.
No, I'm sorry. Just from our, the question was if there was any update on the individuals that were hospitalized. And
I tell you what, this town's got it together in the way of press conference. We've all seen a million press conferences, and they're just, at least today they gave the media a mic, but each time, almost every time, they're repeating the question, which should just be standard operating procedure. Very cool.
I don't have any further updates that have been given to me today, as if any of those have been discharged.
You said you were going back to work tonight. You're going back to work tonight. How many days?
Because of the industrial hazards here, the question was how long we're going to work tonight. We are doing daytime operations. So, roughly 8 o'clock, 7 to 8 o'clock is our daytime operation, 7 to 7 or 8 to 8. And will mainly probably depend on responders' health. They've already been into the scene 3 to 4 times each today. And so we'll go one more work cycle with them, and we monitor their vitals and everything. And it will probably determine on what their status is. We have a group of individuals who rotate, and we cycle. Not only we send people in, we have to have people out to rescue them as well. So we need double the numbers besides just the individuals going in.
Is that water still waste deep? Does it have a mixture of this hazardous material still in it, or just deep even?
Last question. We have a configuration of multiple volumes. We have what's contained on the site. We have what would be in different rooms and buildings, or what's in mud puddles in the parking lot. So everything that you could just think of in nature.
All right, that concludes today's press conference. Thank you again, everyone, for being here. We will have another press release out at 5:30. and I will send an alert when we have tomorrow's press conference scheduled. In the meantime, please continue to send your questions to our JIC email. That's jic@wa.gov. We're working through those as quickly as we can. Thank you.
So there you have it. That was a late afternoon press conference from Longview, Washington. I'm impressed by how the authority figures are handling it. Like I said, they're not used to dealing with this kind of stuff. There hasn't been an event like this in many years in Washington. So keep all the victims of this tragedy in your prayers. All right, I'll try to handle this as gingerly as possible. I see Rod was talking about decontamination. Let's see here. The decontamination of the victims that were recovered. As crews recover the victims, they must undergo a strict decontamination process on site to remove dangerous chemicals. Without this step, the chemicals would pose a severe burn risk to the medical examiners and compromise the facilities. So there's that. Okay, and what I'm going to pull up now is, actually, let me get rid of this right quick. I'm going to show you just a quick video of the aftermath soon after the event happened here. Let's see. Let me get rid of that guy. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Let me get this right. Sorry, I'm still juggling with how to present here, so bear with me. This is these types of live streams are a lot more difficult for me than just talking crap. But we'll still be doing that every day at 5 o'clock. So let me see here. Let's do this and this. There we go. Like I said, this video is pretty tough to watch, but they don't show anything. So I just want you to see how the state of chaos it was. Oh, you'll see. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it really quickly. Here it is here. And this is from King 5 Seattle. So a regional media outlet. Let's see here. It's D'Amico says, firefighters have a special place in my heart. God bless all first responders and especially the victims and their families. Yes, indeed. Same here. I think being a fireman, much like being a teacher, it's one of the most noble jobs. And in our country, in the United States, in big cities, they have the firefighters are paid. And the further you get away from metropolis, out into the countryside, small, mountain villages and whatnot, it's all volunteer. It's all volunteer, and if it wasn't for all of those volunteers, I mean, we'd lose a lot of life and structures. So yes, hats off to all of them. Morning, Shady. Share it out and like. We'll be listening when I can. Thank you. Okay, so this is moments after the chemical implosion. Like I said, this is kind of rough, but I think it's worth having a look.
Out of Longview, new video shows the
mid-sentence. Okay, as you see, I mean, geez. I'm sure there are tank builders and whatnot out there that are able to look at this tank and give you some idea of when it was built, but I just can't find it, man. I spent 45 minutes looking and it became frustrating. So hopefully it'll all come out in the long run.
We start with the latest out of Longview. New video shows the moment after a chemical tank implosion at the Nippon Dynawave packaging mill. Tuesday's disaster has now claimed the lives of 2 people. 9 others are still unaccounted for and presumed dead.
Okay, well, obviously this was before the press conference yesterday, but I mean, just look at the wreckage. They described it as an implosion. I mean, maybe I just don't have a proper understanding of the difference between an implosion and an explosion, but this looks like an explosion to me. I mean, just made this truck look like a toy.
The governor says officials are bracing for what could become the deadliest industrial tragedy in modern state history. We have now learned
We have no idea who's taking that video, though. That seems like a pretty tricky proposition.
Some of the victims' names. The first two were identified by loved ones as Gilbert
Oh, man, I was going to try to avoid this, but hopefully they handle this in a respectful way. I should have looked at this ahead of time. So this is Gilbert Bernal and Jared Ammons.
Bernal and Jared Ammons. A fundraiser to support Ammons' family says he leaves behind a wife and 2 children with.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can find that link and I'll put it in my chat.
Another child on the way. The family wrote, quote, his loss has left an unimaginable hole in the hearts of everyone who knew him.
I do apologize. I was trying to avoid this, but I guess it seems they're handling it respectfully. I'm going to see if I can find their official link that we can contribute to.
And a similar sentiment coming from the daughter of Gilbert Bernal.
He was just a very genuine person, and it just within minutes of you talking with him, you felt like you know him for a lifetime.
We've also confirmed brothers Tyler and Brad Covington are among those presumed dead. This is a photo of Tyler, who leaves behind a fiance and 3 children, according to a fundraiser for the family. Of the 8 people injured in the implosion, 5 have been released from the hospital. We're also tracking the urgent environmental impacts that are happening right now. The tank that imploded had the capacity to hold 900,000 gallons of a toxic white liquor used in the paper making process. First responders confirm some of that liquid.
Sorry, I was muted, guys. They said they keep referring to the capacity of this tank of being 900,000 gallons, but in prior press conferences, they said it wasn't full, so they're looking at about 600,000 gallons. I'm not sure what the difference is to you and I. It's important to the investigators. They can, try to determine how much liquid is left in the tank, how much was in the tank before the implosion, and then that'll tell you how much was expelled. But I have a feeling those exact numbers like that are going to be, weeks away. Like I said, insurance companies, this becomes illegal in insurance circus, I'm sure.
Has entered the Columbia River. King 5 Savannah Welch reports from Longview.
Crews have been able to get closer to the blast zone, but they say the work has been slow and extremely dangerous because of the toxic chemicals still inside the damaged tank. Let's show you that video from inside the blast area.
I didn't see it, Shady. Let me look really quickly. Thank you. I don't hate missing super chats. Let me just look. Oh no, I did see it. Thank you, Shady. And thanks again, Chicana Army Brat. I'll play you a song or something once we get through some of this. I just want to get this information out quickly.
You can see overturned cars, scattered metal and twisted debris and metal. It
just makes these full-size trucks look like toys.
Investigators say the implosion happened right after a shift change Tuesday morning. The massive tank ruptured, spilling hundreds of thousands of gallons of a highly caustic chemical known as white liquor. It's used in the paper making process. Officials say some of the 9 people who are still missing were believed to be inside offices and a break room near the tank when it collapsed.
Understand that there are members working the site tirelessly that have lost co-workers, lost friends.
The priority is ensuring response.
Like I said, a town of 38,000 people. For some of you, it's 10 times the people you have in your town. But it's with the size of that plant, 38,000 people there. So you just assume maybe the husband works at the plant, the wife is a school teacher, or the wife works at the plant and the husband's a plumber. But everyone's affected in this community, I guess, is what I'm trying to point out.
Under safety while treating every victim with the greatest dignity, care, and respect as possible.
Officials also confirm that chemicals from the tank rupture made their way into the Columbia River. The Department of Ecology says crews are now flushing contaminated water from nearby ditches with fresh water, then pumping it into the river to help dilute the chemicals. The EPA and Department of
I promise you guys, I'm going to get a better understanding of what they're doing, and I'll present it to you sometime this weekend. I mean, but what she just said, it sounds very strange to me.
Ecology says crews are now flushing contaminated water from nearby ditches with fresh water, then pumping it into the river to help.
And then pumping it into the river. I have to figure out what this is all about. I'm sorry, I don't have a proper understanding, but I'll try to get it.
Dilute the chemicals. The EPA and Department of Ecology are continuing to monitor water and air quality. Officials say there are currently no concerns about Longview's drinking water, but still, people are being urged to stay away from ditches and waterways near the mill. Meanwhile, workers and community members are demanding answers about what went wrong and whether or not this could have been prevented. Coming up in the next half hour,
Yeah, I'm definitely going to put something together for this weekend. Like I said, Monday through Friday here, Monday through Friday, news stories, Monday through Thursday stories, and then Friday we'll recap everything. So we have hopefully put some bookends to things. But the weekends, it's going to be free for all. I do want to figure out how these drainage ditches work and exactly what they're physically doing, because it seems like it's easy to listen to them talk, but I'm a visual guy. I need to see graphs. I need to see where these things are. And like she said, and I'm going to try to avoid this part of it, but I think it's part of the conversation. There's lots of grumbling from the locals about, I haven't seen anyone express, we knew something like this would happen, but a lot of people are like, whistleblowing, that's a good thing. So it's a little bit of a too little too late situation, but just imagine going back to this facility to work. I mean, how do you feel safe after this? So it's a big problem. I'll get to the bottom of it, though.
hear from the company directly about their response and the investigation moving forward. Reporting in Longview, Savannah Welch, King 5 News.
Thanks, Savannah Welch.
Experts tell King 5 explosions at paper mills have happened before, but an implosion like this is incredibly rare. Let's take a closer look at the tank at the center of all of this. The tank at the Nippon Dynawave packaging facility has capacity to hold around 900,000 gallons of white liquor. For comparison, an Olympic-sized swimming pool holds around 660,000 gallons of water. Fire officials believe 25,000 gallons are still inside the tank. So what exactly is white liquor?
Okay, so thank you so much, this Butler. Thank you for covering this with compassion. Of course, Butler. I can't do it any other way. Tara says, I don't like the idea of flushing into the river. Me either. I mean, I live right next to the river, and I have my whole life. I'm from the city that caused the Environmental Protection Agency to be formed. Everyone knows the story of Pittsburgh. I think most people do. A river city, mills line all of the rivers. So historically, you couldn't swim in the rivers here. People do now. I don't know. I would love to get one of those, test kits and just go down to the place that I fish and just test the water myself. A lot of those test kits, surprisingly enough, if you go to the right governmental websites, they'll send them to you for free. But yeah, the idea of dumping anything to a river is bad news. We know historically with industrial, facilities such as this, the fines are minimal for dumping chemicals. I have a difficult time explaining this. I tried it yesterday. When it becomes less expensive to dump to pay the fines for dumping the chemicals than it does to handle that material properly, and whatever they need to do, the right way to do it. If it's cheaper just to pay the fine than it is to create, improve the facility, it's a problem. The fine should be so astronomical that they're forced to have the proper setup and equipment and handling of any kind of discharges of the chemicals. Historically, it's been a huge problem. We saw this with steel mills, plastic making, you name it. And of course, there's no need to discuss the dangers of dumping chemicals into water. That's a food source with the fish. It's all connected to the drinking water. It's bad news. But there must be some type of process. The EPA's there. I can't imagine there. I don't know. I have to learn about this before I speak on it properly.
Solution made up of sodium sulfide and sodium hydroxide. And when it is heated, it's used to break down wood fibers to make paper products. It's around 13 out of 14 on the pH scale, making it highly caustic. The tanks even require a special protective glass lining to prevent it from eating through the metal. Any contact with skin can quickly cause 2nd to 3rd degree chemical burns. And as for the accident itself, experts suggest a dangerous vacuum formed inside the tank. Eventually, the pressure dropped so low that the structure failed catastrophically, unleashing its contents with explosive force.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so it was an implosion. So basically, imagine if you have a cylinder of a certain temperature of liquid, and then if the temperature changes, you ever see like a can, like a soda can, or like a plastic container that's sealed. When the temperature changes in the liquid, it kind of crunches in. Oh man. So they just said that this tank was glass lined as well. Yeah, I'm willing to bet that it's going to come down to a matter of just an out of date, out of shape tank. Unfortunately, I think that's what it's looking like here, but we will know. Hopefully, I'm willing to bet that this investigation is going to take an awful long time, but we're going to stay on it.
Enough to toss around pickup trucks. The big question now for investigators is what caused that dangerous vacuum to form, and did workers in the area receive any warning about what exactly was unfolding inside that tank? We expect to hear more from first responders this afternoon at 3:30. Stay with King 5 for the latest on the situation, both on air and on the King 5 app. The app is free to download for your phone and TV.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Oops, wrong one. Let me see here. Let me see here. Let me see if there's anything else. Boom, 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 boom. We've seen that. We've seen that. We've seen that. And I do have a local story that I have to share with you that actually I'm going to do something about, because I got really pissed off yesterday when I saw the story. It's not a senior citizens apartment complex, but it's and this is off topic of what we were just talking about. It's not technically a senior citizens seniors living facility. It's just a large apartment here in my city, not far from where I am. And a lot of just poverty stricken people live there. So they get deliveries, donations of food. Just recently, the apartment manager received a huge shipment of food that was supposed to be distributed to the senior citizens there. Times are tough. Anything we could do to help each other out, it's vital. People were trying to do the right thing, and this asshole apartment manager kept all of this food locked in a room that the people couldn't get to for 4 days. So this whole room full of food went bad. People were depending on it. It's terrible. So I contacted a couple of organizations in my city, and they're going to get food to them. So I'm pretty happy with that. I saw it on the news. I was like, somebody's got to do something. I just called a few people that I know, and I'm not a wealthy man myself, or else I would just ship groceries to them. But there are people that are working on it now. I hope to put something together to show you that. I'm not going to do some weird exploitive thing where I go out there and put a camera in their face and say, here's some food, you're hungry. I am so against YouTubers walking up to unhoused people in the street and giving them bags of cash. It's so exploitive. I would never do something like that. But I'm going to show you the story of what happened, and maybe you'll understand why I got so PO'd. I was like, what is happening right now? Thanks again, this Butler. I appreciate you. All right. Yeah, I don't like the idea of them dumping stuff into the ocean as well. Shady says, this is another reason why I'm very picky on what I eat and drink. Yes. I mean, holy cow. Our rivers are precious resources. They certainly are. I mean, they say it's okay to eat the fish in the river near me here, but I mean, here's the fact of the matter. If you just do it occasionally, it's but if it becomes a source of your food, which 45 minutes outside of Pittsburgh, you've got actual mountain people that hunt and fish and farm for their food. So, those are the people that, well, have to be more cautious if it's a large part of your diet. I mean, no poison is good poison, but a smaller amount is better than a lot. I guess that's just common sense. It's temperature regulation. That's what I was thinking. Like if the temperature changed and it like I said, it created a vacuum. Let's see. Tara says the problem we have in Australia, because our manufacturing industry is heavily regulated, it's cheaper to import than make stuff in Australia. Well, that's it. That's what's doing the United States in as well. We went from being producers to consumers in too rapid of a succession. And now we're at the point that we don't even make anything. I mean, specifically for my city, very proud that my ancestors and my hometown people provided the steel to essentially build this whole country. Every Navy ship. I mean, it all came from Pittsburgh, or components came from Pittsburgh. And now all of our steel comes from China because we can't compete. We can't compete, like you said, with the regulations. But I'm pro-regulation. That's the thing. I think we should just have to pay more, but what can you do? It's very frustrating. All right, let me see here. Where are we going next? I just want to check in with chat to make sure I'm not missing nothing. Let's see. Oh, my background music stopped. I just want to show you if I can find the drainage ditches map here. Give me 1 second. I just had it. There's so much information on this on the internet, and so much of it is redundant, just repetitive. I am just, it's freaking me out there talking about we're flushing it with fresh water and what? Into the river? Why? That doesn't make any sense to me. Sorry, bear with me for 1 second, guys. Let's see. Man, I kind of wanted to give you an above view. Let's see. Well, shoot. Man, sorry, guys. Let's see. Not going to go on Facebook. Well, shoot. Let's see. What is this? Well, I'm not sure where the drainage is. Here, let me just put the other story. I want to show you this local story to me, and then we're going to look at the UFC stuff. That's a lot more lighthearted, but still very annoying. But I want to show you. Let me get rid of this quickly. I want to show you what happened at this apartment complex down the road from me. It made me so mad, and it's personal to me because there's a lot of people, a lot of my friends' moms and grandmothers in that building, and people are like, oh, you shouldn't expect handouts. Well, you should. We should take care of each other. It's just that simple. Most of the people who live in that apartment are on fixed income. Many of them are widowers. So, I mean, these are the people that we're obligated to take care of. So, so far, all I've been able to scratch up for them is like a pallet of water, like cases and cases and cases of water. That's not necessarily what they need, but that's what I was offered, and I'm sending it their way. So give me a second. Let me pull this up so I can show you. If I can find it. It's in my history, and I've seen so much. Let's see here. Let me get my background music. And thanks again for being here, guys. I do appreciate you. Let's see here. Rod says it's elder abuse. Yeah, just an asshole apartment manager. Like there was like fresh fish and poultry and beef, and they just left it in a fucking room temperature locked door. So with a glass frame in the door. So all these people were like, wait, there's the groceries right there. Like, oh, and then some people didn't realize until a couple days later, walking by the dumpster out in front of the building, and it's just full of rotten food. And these people have 3 cans of soup in their cupboard. I mean, it's so offensive to me. I can't even explain it to you. This mother says, here in the UK, we have health and safety executive and natural resources team. Both can fine you and send the worst offenders to prison. Top executives of companies have been in prison. Well, it seems like you have progress over there. Thank you so much for being a member for 7 months. TLC is me. It's so awesome. You missed my super chat. I did. I didn't even see it. I'm so sorry. How? Hold on. It's not showing up here. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Oh, there it is. I'm so sorry, Spudler. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, TLC is me. It says, thank you for these morning live center. You got it. We'll be here Monday through Friday. On the weekends, it's when I'm going to take, get my painting done and do things around the house that I need to. Fridays will be a recap. So if you're busy all week and you tune in Friday, that would be the one that you don't want to miss. Friday morning will give us a recap on and any updates to the stories that we followed the rest of the week. I showed everybody the blue McDonald's in Sedona yesterday. If you're not familiar with that, Google it. It's pretty wild. I'm a color guy. I like all kinds of different colors. It's the one McDonald's in the world that has like a sea foam arches. What the hell? What the hell? That's a little tiny truck out there with a big old backup sound. There you go. OSHA. All right, let me see here, guys. Give me 1 minute. I got to look at my... I did see Jay every day with Jay's out there at CrimeCon. She looks like she's having the time of her life. I see she's commingling with other YouTubers out there. Pretty cool, man. I don't think I would ever do that. Too many weirdos around here, but you never know. Let's see here. Bear with me as I search for this. I should have bookmarked it. I'm sorry. Bear with me. And thanks everyone who showed up to Cousin Charlie last night. Oh, I've got this other story about this man losing his mind when his wife said she was going to leave him. I'll show you that here before we leave. Okay, here it is here. This made me so mad, dude. And not only me, all my buddies, because I often, I got buddies that of all walks of life, and many of them are compassionate and give a fuck about human beings. So, whereas I don't know where to start to get a bunch of groceries for someone, I know the people to call. The ball's rolling. The water's already been delivered. We're working on, foods. Oh, hold on. Let me present it. Dirt. I'm over here watching it behind this backstage by myself. I love my fucking city. I love my people here, dude. This is one of the most un-Pittsburgh-like things I've ever seen in my life, dude. This is, unacceptable. And of course, the management company that owns the apartment offered you'll see.
Well, tonight, bags and bags of groceries donated to seniors in Wilkinsburg all went to waste. Residents are telling KDK's Mamie Bob.
Wilkinsburg is a traditionally black neighborhood in Pittsburgh. We all know that America is racist, so oftentimes they're, marginalized, things like that. These are the people that are privileged like me are obligated to look out for and help in any way possible, just like we all are.
But after the food was delivered on Friday, the building management prevented them from getting it.
Donated food that could have filled empty tables instead filled the trash bins outside of this Wilkins.
I know one of the ladies that gets interviewed in this. That's kind of one of the reasons it struck me when I first saw it. I've spoken with her since. She is a firecracker.
Wilkinsburg apartment.
I'm upset because a lot of people in here don't get food stamps and they could have used that food.
Elena Warren has lived at Wood Towers for 2 decades. On Friday, 90 bags of groceries were delivered to the low-income building, mainly housing seniors. Warren said the residents wanted to hold a Memorial Day barbecue. However, they never got access to the food.
This building, you see how big it is. It's huge. It's just packed full of all our aunties and all our uncles and all our Mama Dukes, dude. So it's just so crazy to me. But the response that I've gotten from my friends are the same as me. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Food because it was locked in the community room by the property manager.
They was mad because they wanted the food. And they're upset and wondering why did she do that to us? Why did she take the food and lock it in a room until it went bad and then took it and threw it in the dumpster?
The groceries were distributed by the Promise Center, paid for by Highmark Whole Care. Tenants say it went bad after sitting in this room for 3 days. Michelle
Highmark Whole Care is the local one of the local medical facilities. Highmark is like, let me try to think of other companies, like Pfizer. I don't know, like other health insurance companies.
Snowden doesn't live in the building, but she stays nearby. She stumbled on the food in the trash.
What went through your mind? Rage, hate, hurtfulness. It's very spiteful to withhold food from people who can actually use it. And then for it to end up going in the garbage and nobody gets it at all, it's hurtful.
Wilkinsburg Councilwoman Sabrina Gibson came to the building to speak with residents and get answers. I called the property manager who works for a company called TriQuest.
For the property manager, please press 1.
I eventually did speak with her. She was inside the building. She admits to locking the food in the community room Friday and claims it was because someone was stealing.
How are you stealing something that was donated to us?
She tells me she didn't know there was fish in the bag, which resulted in the food going bad.
I mean, it doesn't matter if there's fish in the bag. Oops, I didn't know there was fish in the bag. Well, all the food had gone bad. Like it's so offensive. I don't want to get myself sued, but is this slumlord situation here? You know?
She, along with another property manager, say the groceries were delivered later than expected Friday, and no one from management was on site. They tell me they are looking into who accepted the delivery.
I was going to say, it doesn't make sense that no one on the management team was available when the delivery came, or else they wouldn't put it into a locked room and lock the door. You know what I mean? See how they do? It makes me so angry.
Roaming through the camera system. Tenants say it doesn't matter. Wasted food is hard to accept when so many people are struggling.
A lot of people didn't get any of that food. And the people could have ate it. Other people could have eaten the food.
I did speak with State Representative Abigail Salisbury, who represents this district. She tells me right now she, along with others, are working on a solution to replace the food. Reporting in Wilkinsburg, Mamie Ba, KDKA TV News.
Thanks. Let's see. Okay. Here's the response from the Wood Tower Property Management.
Within just the last hour, we received a statement from the owner of Wood Tower saying, in part, it's unfortunate that such a generous contribution by Promise Place and our hardworking team at Wood Towers are the center of a negative story that stems from a miscommunication over the...
A miscommunication. I don't see that it's a miscommunication. I can't see how it would be. Only a manager, a property manager, or one of the employees there would have a key to that door. So they're saying, oh, we weren't there to receive. Well, who received it then? And who else has a key to that door? It's just, it's such bullshit.
The donation delivery time. I assure you that if management was aware of the shift, they would have responded accordingly.
It doesn't make sense. What do you mean? That's just a lie. It's just a lie. That's all. Oops. Oh.
First, though, police...
Shoot. Oh, this is the story I wanted to show you. Look at that. I accidentally clicked on something. It's the next story I wanted to show you. And I'm not trying to make fun of this situation because it's pretty brutal. But at the same time, the gallows humor in me finds some humor in this story. But I'm not making light of it, I promise. Flight attendant, so good to see you. And thanks again, TLC is me. I'm sorry I missed that. I think that's what Shady was trying to tell me. It was like, I already saw it, lady. My bad. I'm just officially awake now. The last 90 minutes I've been on autopilot. So thanks for bearing with me. Okay, check. So this, the story speaks for itself. I wanted to show you this. And then I'm going to show you some of the backlash about the UFC fight on the in the yard of the White House. If you guys haven't noticed already, I fucking hate the idea of this happening. We don't have events in our country. We don't celebrate in times of war. It's just sort of against the rules. I mean, we're supposed to be pinching pennies. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It makes me very upset. And it's this man's 80th birthday. It's like, come on, man. What? The most interesting thing is what Joe Rogan's saying about it, because like I said, he's very good friends. It has been very good friends with Dana White for years. And he thinks it's a huge security risk as well. But this has nothing to do with any of that. This is, it speaks for itself.
In Butler County, say a man snapped after his wife told him their marriage was over. They say he then climbed into an excavator and started tearing apart the family's home with his wife and 2 daughters inside.
It is a beautiful home, too. I mean, geez.
Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Ken Rice.
And I'm Christine Sorensen. Shelley Bortz is in Buffalo Township tonight with the disturbing details.
Police say this all unfolded yesterday morning here on Martin Road in Buffalo Township. Investigators say what started as an argument quickly turned dangerous when the husband allegedly used heavy construction equipment to partially demolish the home with his own family still inside.
I think he's crazy. And that's why I don't drink.
Nailed it. It's a beautiful home, though. I mean, look at that. Buffalo County's really nice, sparsely populated, or, you know, everybody's got some elbow room out there. Not all the homes are, you know, of this size out there either. There's lots of shacks and cabins.
Drone video shows the massive damage left behind after police say an argument.
I would love to see the body cam of this, of the cop walking up to the guy with his excavator. Like, what the hell? Also, not to be funny, but that's a really strong house. He didn't get too much done.
Between a husband and wife spiraled out of control Tuesday.
I mean, will you look at that? Jeez, man. It looks like the East Wing of the White House.
Morning. Investigators say 48-year-old Eric Pirza used a Kubota excavator to rip apart the rear of the family's home.
I'd like to know what she said to him, because I'll make sure I will say.
According to the criminal complaint, Pirza's wife told police her husband...
Everyone's okay. There were no physical victims or anything. Obviously, a family in distress, but...
arrived at the family's home after drinking all night and began arguing with her. When she told him the marriage...
There you have it.
...was over, investigators say he responded with a chilling threat. If it's over, I'll tear the house down.
42 years I've been married. We yell at each other all the time. But I've never threatened to tear the house down.
Police say moments later, Pirza climbed into the excavator and began tearing into the house, while his wife and 2 daughters were still inside. The criminal complaint says dispatchers could hear yelling and the sound of the excavator during the 911 call. Investigators say after the destruction stopped, Pirza went back inside, grabbed a gym bag, and took off toward Fawn Township before eventually being taken into custody.
Oh, okay. See, in my mind, when I first listened to this story, I imagined, you know, just a patrol car pulling up to the house and this guy's just fucking, you know, working.
You don't think it's going to happen around here.
Neighbors we spoke with off camera say they're still struggling to understand what happened. One man who says he knows Pirza personally and has hunted with him before described him as a big outdoorsman and said he was shocked by the allegations.
Yeah, lots of hunting up there. Lots of it.
Pirza is now facing charges including causing a catastrophe, reckless endangerment, and disorderly conduct. Court records also show his wife planned to seek a protection of abuse order following this incident. Pirza
seems like a good idea if you ask me.
Is due in court for his preliminary hearing June 9th. Reporting in Buffalo Township, Butler County, Shelley Bortz, KDKA TV News.
Thanks, Shelley Bortz. And I don't really see a reason to, I'm going to just line that one. I don't see a reason of or giving updates on that. It's a sad family affair. I just thought it was striking how I've never seen anybody tear their own house apart. Like, geez, man. And people ask me why I'm not married, dude. Are you kidding me? Okay, so now I want to show you the UFC stuff, if I may. If you don't know, there's an event planned at the White House. It's a official UFC bout. Ultimate Fighting Championship, so mixed martial arts essentially, and the stage is being built. This is all being done. It's not open to the public, which is incredibly offensive. It is going to be broadcast live. Many of the people involved are concerned about, you know, safety concerns. Obviously, there are nefarious people out there that see that it's best fit to try to eliminate politicians to get their point across. I don't support that. I think we should do it the old-fashioned way. But you guys judge for yourself. I'm curious to see what you think. I mean, here's the quagmire or the dilemma I have. I like watching UFC fights. I mean, I realize some people don't like violent stuff or whatever. I enjoy it. It's a skill, and it's like, you know, just like any other sport, you get your favorite competitor and you follow their career. That's what it is for me. I just think this is bad business. First of all, I'm against fighting outside. on a professional level. If it's a title bout and you got mosquitoes biting your ear while you're trying to fight, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Not only is it going to mess with the integrity of the UFC fights, but it's also going to be a huge safety issue. I mean, I seriously am concerned that something may occur, and I don't want to be planting seeds, but it freaks me out. I just want to make that clear, man. It doesn't make any sense. Typically, historically, countries that are at war don't have such spectacular events. You know, it just makes no sense. It makes no sense. He should be hosting the families of the 13 American service members that lost their life in Iran. That's what should be happening, not a fucking oiled up men rustling around in the yard. So let me see if I can find the newest update to this. And really, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who wins these fights or whatever, so long as it's not a safety issue. But it's so frustrating. You'll see. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm trying to find something. Here we go. We'll use CNN. I know CNN's not the most dependable source for specifically political information. I mean, they're just Fox on one side, CNN on the other side, and the rest of us in the middle. Like, Trump has no class and is tone deaf to the will of the American people. He is treating the White House like Mar-a-Lago. I agree with you. Listen, I've been against this guy ever since he was on the Inside Edition bus with Billy Bush talking about he grabs women by the crotch, dude. At that point, I was already out. I was just like, what are we doing here? This guy's going to represent. This man couldn't represent us. He was born and placed into a bassinet made of gold. He doesn't have anything in common with any of us, dude. Now, I don't know any. I mean, well, now there are a bunch of fucking dum-dums that act like him, but he doesn't represent us. I get so concerned about this. Can we look at like any bigger buffoons to the world? Like, I take it personally. I'm proud of being where I'm from, and it's become like a humiliation ritual. You know, I could say so much, but I want to keep it light in the mornings. I will say that we are going to revisit the Epstein stuff next week as well. It looks like Melania Trump may have a secret daughter in Eastern Europe that potentially could be the child of Jeffrey Epstein. You heard me right. I'm just being cautious with that, but it seems like it. I'll show you the photo of her, of the lady that's supposedly her daughter. The timelines match up. She would have been born in 1985. Really interesting stuff, but I have to put that together for you guys so I don't give you bad information, but look forward to that. All right, so this is the UFC shit show.
If you're wondering what on earth is happening on the South Lawn behind me right now, that is not construction of President Trump's new ballroom. That is actually the construction ahead of the UFC fight that is scheduled to take place here on June 14th. Now, it's part of the events that are leading up to America's 250th birthday on July 4th. That will be held, though, on Flag Day here at the White House, which is also the weekend of President Trump's birthday. And he says an estimated 4,000 people will be held in that arena when it's finished being built here on the South Lawn of the White House. Weigh-ins are going to take place at the Lincoln Memorial.
I do appreciate that. Rescue Rabbit, someone who has the nats to speak on politics. I lack self-preservation when it comes to my viewpoints on politics, man. I currently think that this orange fucking clown that's running the United States, there's no way this man is running the United States. Can't be. He's standing at the podium shitting himself. And all these same people that are just ignoring this fucking rapid cognitive decline of this man are the same guys that fucking were just had the most terrible things to say about Joe Biden. What I say to those people is, what's the difference? Why is one man showing, these characteristics and another man showing the same thing, but, oh, you like that guy better? Well, that's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous viewpoint to have. But yeah, I try to be respectful. I know I've got people from, all walks of life, political parties. I myself am more of a libertarian. Not even that, because then I have to deal with libertarians. I'm just an independent type of thinker. Some things I'm conservative on. Many things I'm liberal on, and specifically social issues. But somebody's got to talk about it. And sometimes whenever I talk too many politics, I lose a couple subscribers. It's totally worth it. I realize that people don't come here for politics. They come here for my opinion, but we can't avoid the orange elephant in the room. I find it impossible to do.
Massive watch parties are going to happen here in Washington. And as you look at it, it's kind of hard to overstate just how big the construction is of the Octagon Arena that they are building here for the
I mean, this is going to, once these lights come on and the fights begin, it's going to be a mosquito. All these bright lights, it's going to become a mosquito mess. Now they're talking about utilizing fans, not viewers of the fight, but the fans to blow air to keep mosquitoes off of people. This is a bad idea. This whole thing is a bad idea. Dana White is a maniac. So he was at the what's it called? The correspondence, White House Correspondents' Dinner. Where famously there was like this weird fake attempt at the president's life. Well, Dana White was there, and it seemed like he was interviewed 10 minutes after what happened there. He was standing there right when it happened. And he was like, that was the most exciting thing ever. I love that. I mean, this guy is such a billionaire and so out of touch with reality that he's numb to the world to the point where he only likes things that are dangerous and threatening. It's a bad attitude to have when this country's at war. And you're promoting a spectacle, and you're going to have all the most elite fighters and all these Epstein class people all clustered into one little area being bit up by mosquitoes on a fucking June night. None of it makes sense, dude. What I'm saying is Dana White seems like the kind of guy that would get some type of excitement off of somebody getting hurt. I'll show you what he said after the White House Correspondence. It's absolutely fucking insane. And this is difficult for me because I've been a fan of Dana White, not his politics, but you have to respect the business that this man built. This is all, for me, it's like, you don't have to respect the musician to understand that it's a good song. And that's sort of how I feel about the UFC. And they're making great strides to future prosperity of their young fighters. Historically, these guys just pummel each other and then they're left on their own afterwards. Dana White makes a concerted effort to try to take care of his guys. He did have a good business model to play off of. He just did WWE, just the infrastructure type of thing. And he did. Much of it's the same. It's the UFC structured very much like WWE what is. But I don't know. A large part of me hopes that there's enough public pushback to cancel this event, to make it understood that this is inappropriate, to say the least. And also, worst case scenario, it becomes some type of security breach. We pray that there isn't going to be anything like that, and I'm not trying to sow seeds. It makes no sense to me. None of this makes sense. All this is the ego of an 80-year-old man turning 80, and this is his birthday party. That's what it is.
UFC fight set to take place in just a few weeks.
For more on this, I want to bring in my political sources, Democratic strategist Maria Cardona and Republican strategist Shermichael Singleton. Giant.
I just want to let you know that I don't have very much confidence in CNN, just like I don't have very much confidence in Fox News. But hopefully, since they have a lefty and a righty here, hopefully we can get some kind of consensus as to, what people think.
UFC fans, right, guys? No?
Yes,
this guy right here. Yeah. I saw that sort of apparatus at King's Dominion. They shoot you up in the air.
Oh yeah,
right. This is different. This is a stadium. Okay, what do you think, Maria, of this whole affair?
I think it's the continued desecration, Brianna, of the People's House. And look, I'm not putting down UFC. I know that it is, a huge event. Tons of people love it. But why not have it on the mall? Why not have it somewhere else that is not in the middle of the White House?
It's simply because it's the president's birthday, dude. That's why it's set up where it is. It's gonna be those of you interested. Like I'm gonna watch, but I would never go to this event. It seems like a fucking trap to me. But excuse me. Still can't breathe my saliva. It says the event will be held on Sunday daytime evening spectacle, deviating from its typical UFC Saturday night slot, and will be carried live on Paramount Plus with preliminary bouts on CBS. So that's the thing. So the UFC is paying for the structure. That's essentially it. Just a few months ago, Dana White signed a contract with Paramount Plus. I think it's $8 billion or some shit like that. It's an astronomical number. I'll get the exact number for you. So there's no lack of money in that organization. I hate everything about this. And I hate that like it's two worlds of mine coming together. My disdain for the current administration that runs my country and a sport that I have respect for. So this is just like one of my favorite comedians, Tony Hinchcliffe, when he was invited to do a stand-up set at a Trump rally. I was so mad, dude. I was so mad I can't even tell you. It ruined it for me.
And I think what it does is it reminds people just how much this administration's priority is not affordability, is not bringing down costs, it's not focused on inflation, it's not keeping the promises that they made during the campaign, but it is these grandiose, gaudy, sort of flashy.
I know the 14th is not no Juneteenth. That's Friday, June 19th. That's for hey, what's up, Jade? Good to see you. No, the 19th is Juneteenth. Tara says the Roman used the fanfare of the Colosseum to distract from real problems. Well, I think the Iran war is a distraction from investigating the child predators that lurk in our current governmental, administration. It runs so deep. We have to go back to the Epstein stuff, man, because there's so much new stuff. Howard Lutnick still has a job. I have no idea how. I mean, it's just the whole thing is out of control. But let me not squirrel.
Think vulgar events that have everything to do with not honoring the American people. He's using the 250th anniversary as an excuse, but honoring Donald Trump. And it goes to Americans now thinking this is why they're so mad.
Well, no, it's a regular ring. It just all that scaffolding and all that frame that's being built. That's for lights and stuff like that. It's not a closed cage. It just looks like a normal ring in the middle. There's no cage.
And why Donald Trump's poll numbers are continuing to, go in the wrong direction, because he's not focused on the priorities of the American people. He's focused on his own priorities.
Look, I think, Brianna, we can focus on cost of living, housing shortages, educational crisis within our country, focusing on issues with young men.
I was hoping to hear more about the UFC fight. This is just going to be a political debate by two paid actors. It's just so lame. It's so lame, dude.
Focusing on the issues of our inner cities, immigration, and foreign affairs. We can do all of those things, and we should do those things, and we should assure the American people that they are top priorities for the Republican Party and for the president. That said, we can also celebrate the 250th anniversary of the country. I'm a big UFC fan. I think it's one.
My official opinion is there should not be any celebration in a time of war. There just shouldn't. We know better. We know better, but this what's happening now with our government is just unacceptable. And none of us can do anything about it. We could just watch. It's the most frustrating thing in the world.
Wonderful to have Americans at the people's house, the White House. It is all of our houses to be there, and also to see a sport that millions of Americans.
Yeah, bud. It's not a public event, though. It's an event specifically thrown for the Epstein class of people. That's what it is. He's saying have the people at the people's house, of course, but that he's misrepresenting what this is. It's not you and I going to the White House, because it's not what it is. It's billionaires, dude.
Like and adore. And by the way, I'll add, I think Donald Trump recognizes the strength that he has had and Republicans have had for a couple of years now.
I can't listen to this asshole. I'm sorry. Let me find a different. I'm not. No. It's so these people are saw out of touch, dude. Nobody believes it anymore. You know, I just feel bad to those people that are susceptible, that, you know, just trust their news source so much that they buy into this false rhetoric of him doing, our president doing a good job. He's not. He's just not. He's shitting in a diaper right now. So there's that. So bear with me. I can't do this political stuff with these guys. I don't mind talking politics, but I'm not going to let some fucking asshole in a suit run fucking false narratives in front of my face, dude. I can't do it. We deserve better. So bear with me. Okay. Wait, this does get better. I just don't want to listen to this asshole talk at all. I'm going to scan ahead. So there is better stuff here. Good. Sorry about that. And sorry for that, even exposing you to that asshole. Like, what is he talking about? He's done a really good job, dude. What the fuck? What are you talking about, dude? Sometimes, I mean, these are all just paid actors, dude. Let's face it. All right.
White House for Trump's 80th birthday in June. Here's a rendering from the UFC of what it will look like when it is done. And Trump says the event is part of celebrations also for America's 250th birthday this year. Now, Trump is also
they're accounting, they're allotting for 4,000 guests, every one of them a millionaire, billionaire, all Epstein class. We're talking Zuckerberg, you know, all these people, dude, all the usual suspects. And also, not to be funny, but I don't think you want that many billionaires in one place. It seems like just security issue.
Celebrating America's 250th for his triumphal arch, which will be the tallest in the world, he says. And
I hate that. Listen, man, the fucking people in my neighborhood are starving, and this motherfucker's building an arch. Do you understand how frustrating this is?
Facing a lawsuit by a group of Vietnam veterans, arguing that it obstructs the symbolic view from Arlington National Cemetery to the Lincoln Memorial.
Oh my God, dude.
Memorial. The lawsuit also argues that the arch must be approved by Congress. And Sean Burns and John.
I mean, it is a beautiful, mock-up of arch, but what do we need that for? What is this, dude? This is like some for real, like fascist country where the leaders just build fucking iconic fucking statues of themselves, dude. What is happening?
Gunderson are two of the Vietnam vets who brought that lawsuit. They are out front tonight. Sean, you shared photos.
Just travel Eastern Europe and have a look there. I mean, there's Soviet, it's just, it kills me. It kills me. And if it's a group of Vietnam veterans that are fighting against the president, just think about that for a second.
Photos with us from the Vietnam War. And you're on the far right here, standing by one of the jets that you flew. And you served this country. And you were in a war. You had friends who died. As a veteran, what is your gut reaction when you hear and then you see the renderings of what Trump is doing with the arch?
I'm all about activism. I would say people should protest this, but I think everyone should just stay away from there. I'm so concerned about the security risk that I can't even explain to you. We've already seen at least one legitimate attempt on this, on a president's life. I mean, if that was even real, but technically, officially, we've seen at least one attempt on this man's life, and he wants to have a birthday party like this. Seems like bad decision-making skills. I mean, at minimum.
Frankly, Aaron, it's good to be here, and thank you for having me. But to answer your question, I'm appalled. I lost a number of close friends, and three.
I make no secret about the fact, being a Marine Corps veteran myself, I will have a veteran's back first every time. Anybody that's willing to sacrifice themselves for, as cheesy as it sounds, for our freedoms, these are the people we have to support, along with our senior citizens, our aunts, our uncles, our grandparents. You might understand what I'm about if you watch long enough.
Shipmates in and around Vietnam, and I'm just appalled at this massive vanity project going up on ground that that is some of the most sacred ground to Americans, without following procedures and the law and bill.
Let me just read some of these. Trooper says, Senator, absolutely hungry, broke, and what about our veterans waiting weeks for appointments at the VA? I'm blessed. I don't have that problem. My VA is pretty efficient. I did see, though, what I noticed when I was out in Denver, many of you know I was out in Denver for a few months, and I had to go to the VA a couple times. And the downtown Denver VA is a shambles. Everybody drives to North Dakota because the VA there is much better. So I do understand this is a problem, and I'm not trying to make light of it. But I'm blessed in Pittsburgh here. We have a great VA. Like I said, Denver, people have to drive north to another state to get seen quicker. It's a blessing that it's available. It's just, it's a little bit of a drive, but at least it's available. I just don't know. I don't know what's happening in Denver, and I don't want to talk too negatively about it unless I have a better understanding. But in the way of homeless veterans, the numbers are staggering. And leaving the Marines myself, I can tell you there were no classes to teach you what to do. It was sort of like, I remember the day that I left the Marines, it was 29 Palms, and basically just at the front gate with my shit, the same way I fucking showed up. And I was like, what am I going to do? There was no planning. I should have been, there should be, and there may be now, it's been years since I served, but there should be some type of, transitional training. Like there was nothing. I was in infantry battalion. They were like, thank you for your service. And I remember feeling prideful and feeling like I accomplished something for sure. But there was also this weird hollow feeling like, oh, wow, I'm just, once you're connected to something like that for so long, you're not worried about paying for housing because you live in the barracks. You go to the chow hall for food. If you get sick, you go to sick bay. Everything is there. So to have everything, it's sort of a situation where like you don't know what you got till it's gone, and then you realize, oh shit, I'm in my mid-20s and I have to figure out what's next. It's really something special. And I am happy to say there are tons of organizations that try to ease that transition. Unfortunately, the hiring of veterans is at all-time low, and we need to do something about that. People used to have this, hold veterans in high esteem and give them priority, especially if they had, husbands and wives and children to take care of. They would get, and they should get a priority. Like I said, anybody that's willing to defend you as a stranger, you should have their back when they're done serving. It's a lifelong problem. I don't know. This is not something a president can fix. This is something that we have to make noise about to get fixed. Ronnie says, I feel for the soldiers on the carrier stuck in the ocean. Yeah, I have a couple of buddies. They're in the Strait of Hormuz right now. You know what they're doing? They're playing cards. They're all playing spades all day, all day long, all night long. They're doing their ship duties, and then they're just sitting around the bunks playing spades. They don't know why they're there.
And I just find it's appalling.
So John, Trump says that the arch will be the largest in the world. That's what he says. And when we show it here, it is going to, when it's done, according to the renderings, be 50 feet taller than the Arch of Triumph in Pyongyang. It will be 90 feet taller than the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. And obviously, it dwarfs the White House and the length.
This is just, why? Why? And who's paying for that?
And memorial, as we can see that. It will remake Washington, D.C. So, John, what statement do you think this makes to the world?
Yeah, as Sean says, it's a vainglorious comment. It does not serve veterans. When you think about this arch, which, as you mentioned, Aaron, it's also much bigger than the Statue of Liberty. And if you've ever been in Arlington National Cemetery and the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, you have this sweeping, iconic view of Washington. You see the Lincoln Memorial.
I've been there. It's true. It's awe-inspiring.
See the Washington Monument, the Vietnam Memorial, Korean, World War II. this arch would block that view, which is sacred. And the Arlington National Cemetery, that was made after the World War.
And just to let you guys know, veteran homelessness is something I take seriously. I know many of you come from, military families. Currently, these are only reported cases too, so it's likely, a much larger number than this. But 32,900 veterans homeless in the streets of the United States of America. 32,000. Do you understand? I mean, I'm not sure if I can give you a physical representation of what 32,000 looks like. It's unacceptable. And this, excuse my language, motherfucker wants to build an arch and have a fight in his backyard. All of this is unacceptable. All of it.
The Civil War as a sign of unity. What this arch does is it's not cleared by Congress. It is not vetted by veterans. It is disgraceful for veterans, and it doesn't go through the normal process. All these other...
No one in this, look at him like a big kid. No one in this man's family has ever served in the military. I think it should be a prerequisite. I've spoken about this before. I think mandatory military service for anyone that's going to lead this country. You can't be in control of choosing what units get deployed to what places in the world if you don't have a basic common understanding of what it's like to be a service member. It shouldn't be allowed. It shouldn't be allowed. Look at this guy. What is this?
Ones, the Martian Monument, Lincoln Memorial, passed by Congress, bipartisan support, vetted by veterans. This is not. It's the wrong arch in the wrong place. It's a bad idea.
Hey, to the person who just sent me an email and said you unsubscribed because you're a Trump person, well, your brain is fucking rotten. So goodbye. I don't want people here anyways that think that this is a serious person.
Sean, you have thought about death and where you want to be buried. And I know, it's something that you could be buried at Arlington Cemetery as a veteran. And when you're
right there, I mean, there is a perfect example of someone with a brain that's been plugged in the Fox News for too many years. They're more interested about me talking negatively about this piece of shit president that we have than they are about the 38,000 veterans that are homeless in the streets. That's a huge problem, dude. If your commitment is to this orange motherfucker and not service members that are homeless and hungry in the streets, then you're un-American. And that's just a fact. And ironically, these are the same people wearing 8 different fucking camouflage patterns and and a red hat. It's not going to work, dude. If we have to have a civil war, so be it. That's my official opinion.
Time comes, and it's something that you thought about and perhaps you thought you wanted to do, but I know that this is making you reconsider that.
Is that to me, Aaron?
Yes, to you, Sean.
Yeah, the answer is a firm yes.
How come?
This mother says, I was nearly homeless once. I was in such a low state of mind, I seriously considered just walking away from it all. I've been there. And I'm glad you didn't, I should say. I seriously considered just walking away from it all. Trust me, anyone can be homeless. It isn't always due to drugs. Absolutely not. I mean, I always try to get to know the people under the bridge in my neighborhood, dude. I know all these guys around here. When I was in Sacramento, I just go out there, go to the encampments. What's up? I'm Dave. How can I help? I got $190 to spend. How can I best help you guys? Oftentimes out there was water because during COVID, they stopped the city was like leaving water caches at the official encampments of homeless people. And then they stopped. So all of a sudden there's no water, it's a terrible thing. So same thing I'm trying to do here in Pittsburgh. I did it in Sacramento, called a few organizations and got just all of a sudden people showed up with trucks full of pallets of water. I mean, there are people willing to help. It's just somebody has to facilitate it. Somebody has to kickstart the shit. And if I can help do that, I will. But to your point, Smother, it is true. Anyone can become homeless. I was so blessed leaving the military. I did some couch surfing, which technically means I was homeless, but it was, with girlfriends. So it's kind of different. I was more like a aspiring gigolo, although I matured fast enough to realize that wasn't who I wanted to become. But I went to Santa Barbara, went to City College. When I lived in Santa Barbara for 14 years, I say 12 or 14 because I left and traveled other places for it. So I technically didn't have an apartment there at those times. But I was the poorest person in the city of Santa Barbara, California. I mean, it's one of the most expensive cities in the world, not just in our country. And I just hustled, man. I worked the front desk of a hotel. I'd finish that shift. I'd go do a bartending shift, get off at 1 o'clock in the morning, go home and fucking start it all over again. I had a great apartment right on the beach. Only went there to sleep. And I think in the long run, that's eventually what chased me out of there. It didn't make sense to me to spend thousands of dollars a month on a studio apartment where you can almost touch all the walls. I'm not a short guy. I need a little bit of space. But I know dozens of guys that I served with that had a much more difficult time. These guys, returning home to Los Angeles to less affluence that I experienced in Santa Barbara. The GI Bill, once I got that all set up and started going to City College, then, that was such a huge help. Many people don't realize that the GI Bill pays for the tuition, but there's a stipend for cost of living. So I think it was something like, it wasn't enough to cover everything, but I wouldn't have been able to do any of it without it. And it would just come in the form of a direct deposit check. I think it was something like, I don't even remember. It must have been $1,100 a month, maybe a little bit less than that. So, but still, there were times where I was precariously close to being, I just had a string of really good luck. And as a result, I always try to help people out that are struggling. I could be back there tomorrow with no place to live, so we have to keep that in mind. And I'm glad you got out of that situation, Spudler, and I'm glad you're alive.
I think this massive arch, which I understand from an interview the president did some weeks ago and was reported in the mainstream papers, when he was asked what the arch was intended for, he said, and I quote me, unquote, that was enough to make me decide this is something I would reconsider.
John, let me play that moment that you're referring to when Trump was asked what the arch is for, right? Because I mentioned that, he said it's part of America's 250th, but he was asked in this interview by CBS what it was really for. And he did say, let me play it.
What is this, Mr. President?
Thank you, guys.
It's going to be built.
Thank you all. You come this way. Thank you.
For who?
Thanks, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
There's something else going on with this MNF that you guys are probably familiar with. It's this slush fund that he did with the maneuvers of lawyers to obtain over $1 billion to distribute to the maniacs that tried to take over the Capitol. They're going to get financially compensated. There are 35 judges, federal judges, that have come out of retirement to protest what he's attempting to do. I don't have a full understanding of it, but I am going to report on it because it's so atrocious. Men who crapped in senators' desk drawers are going to be receiving financial compensation provided by our tax money in America. I can't even explain to you how irrational that is. But that's a whole different issue. There's so many issues, and they all revolve and are spawned from Trump. Almost every single one of them. Did you guys see the plaques that he put in the White House with descriptions of former presidents? It's so crazy. It doesn't even seem real. He has Hillary, a poster, a plaque of Hillary Clinton, and then just like insults like ascribed into this metal plate, and it's just hanging in the White House. The first thing the next president should do is get in there and take all of that shit down. It's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard of. Gold.
Yeah, no, I know where it is, but who's it for?
Thank you guys.
So the reporter says, yeah, I know where it is, but who is it for, John? He replies, me. So what's your just emotional response to that?
No, I don't think Democrats are the answer either. I hope I'm not giving that idea. I think we're the fucking answer. I think we're the answer. Instead of doing what we do every day, maybe take 40 minutes out of your day to see how you can contribute to making your life and your neighbor's life a better existence. It's just that simple. It's most of us at this point, most of you guys don't even know your neighbors' names, dude. This is, and I can only speak for America. I mean, I've traveled a lot, but I only know my own country, to a level where I'm comfortable of saying this. We have gone from being producers to consumers. We've gone from being community driven to having our heads stuck in a digital hole like a bunch of ostriches. No, I don't think Democrats are the answer. Republicans certainly aren't the answer. I would be, at this point, I'd be far more prone to vote for a Democrat because the Republicans have shit the bed. That's it. To support this asshole tooth and nail, and now they're going to abandon him and try to be like, oh no, we're against him. Hey, it's too late for all of that. I say you put them all in a big toilet and you flush it and you start over. That's what I would recommend. Anyways, it says Democrats aren't the answer either. The good thing here in Australia, the Green Party have really good representation in our parliament, keeps the two bigger parties accountable. Really, any third party contendant in the United States is just a spoiler. Like there's never been a legitimate. I mean, aside from Bernie Sanders, there's never been a legitimate outsider. Someone outside of this structure. And I love Bernie Sanders. I just wish he was 30 years younger. He's a brilliant man, and he has good intentions, and he truly loves this country. And it's more than you could say about most of them. It's just he can't be a leader. He's not young enough. You know what I mean? We would experience the same problems that we experience with. You know who I really like, and this is going to sound crazy because I disagree with almost all of his politics, but Richard Massey. Richard Massey, the only Republican whistleblower in the Epstein situation. This man has got balls, dude, and that. Listen, we can compromise on other things if you're going to stand up and do the right thing, and he has. And as a result, he's been voted out of his local jurisdiction there in Kentucky. He's run unopposed for, I think this would have been his seventh term, maybe. I think he had a competitor 1 year, but he blew him out. A typical candidate race in his district in Kentucky costs something along the lines of $200,000. I mean, to us, it seems like an awful lot of money because it is, but in the way of a political race, it's almost nothing. So what happened? Asshole Trump backed a candidate and put $45 million in this candidate's pocket. It was an off-schedule election. It was not quite a midterm. It was a closed election, meaning only Republicans could vote. So the turnout was abysmal. So basically, $45 million. Someone did the math of how much an individual voter got to vote against Massey, and it's like a house. You buy a house. It's that bad. Elections should never be bought. There's nothing more dangerous to democracy than this happening. The silver lining, though, Massey has lost his fucking mind, and he's railing now. He's cooking. I don't know if he's going to make a presidential run, but I would seriously consider him as a contender in my mind, simply because he stood up and did the right thing to the detriment of his own self. And that's, that selflessness is what we should be experiencing with these people. We read history books and we have all these great examples of great men and women that, help fix problems and help just, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole with you guys this morning. But it's a good conversation that we should continue to have. Sputher says Trump wants to go further. Turn by the way, yes, of course. Well, it's so funny how they did it. And listen, I don't think I would vote for Obama again. Although I did the first time. I mean, I was fired up just like everyone else. And believe me, I didn't have buyer's remorse with voting for Obama the way that a lot of these Trump people talk about buyer's remorse. I mean, these people's whole lives are falling apart. These people got Trump tattoos. They named their kid fucking Ivanka. I mean, it's insane. It's insane what this man's done to our country. Fix the problem. Yeah. Yeah. And now we're not seeing examples of, well, we're not seeing popular examples of Americans standing up. Richard Massey is really the only one I can think of in the last couple of years. What did Tara say? That's the point I was trying to make. I've seen how having money in having a minority government works. They have to work with other parties to pass legislation. And I mean, ideally, hopefully in the US, we will, well, here's the thing. It's going to take us 300 years to form a third party. Then you have, it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. I know there's some young up and coming candidates of the future that I'm keeping my eye on, but it's difficult to have any confidence in an individual candidate if I don't have confidence in the whole fucking system, So that's where my mind is. You love Massey too, Shady. I mean, there's some things like I disagree with some of his, specifically his opinions on abortion, things like that. He's a very conservative man, but doesn't matter to me. We could sort that out, man. We could figure that out. He's a great example of what Americans should do. Sacrifice for good, Politicians use socialist as a dirty word. Well, that's because most people don't know what socialism is. I mean, there's democratic socialism. It's not. They think, oh, that's communism. It's not. I think I may be a socialist at heart, but I'm also like I'm like an American version of that. I think there's enough for all of us. That's what I believe. I think there's enough food for all of us. That's why the story that I showed you about that food being locked in the room. It's the red tape, bureaucracy, callous, mean, heartless people that make it so there's this disparity in economic polarization. That is to say, all the rich people are at the top and all the rest of us are at the bottom. Like, we can't even compete. These are the people that are producing our food. These are the people that are forcing strange prescriptions upon us and our children. These are these same people. These are the same people, these billionaires. Do you really think they give a fuck about us? They're farming us for money, dude. That's it. That's all they're doing, is farming us for money and data to, enrich their own lives. It's a real problem. And the thing is, we're too fucking busy fighting with each other to even pay attention to what these monsters are doing. So that's the solution. And I will debate this with anyone. The solution is all of us here in this country, in America, standing up and fucking saying something. Get off your lazy fat ass if you have an opinion and say something about it. Even if your opinion's not popular, man, let's hear it. Let's figure out how to do this. Have we ever had that kind of camaraderie? The only time we've had that kind of camaraderie in this country is in World War II. And you could have the debate that those were useless wars, but in a lot of ways, those were important wars that almost had to be fought. It's easy to look at it that way, but I mean, fighting fascism is the job of democratic countries, and here we are. Here we are, the country that stands for right, and we're turning into a fascist state. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. My hope above hopes that everyone in the world knows that the average people like me and us in chat, we don't support this either. It's like we're being held hostage by this situation, and that's why you see people that are mentally unstable trying to take action to solve the problem, dude. And nobody wants a political assassination. Please don't make this man a martyr. I mean, like, seriously, could you imagine the gold statue that would be built? He's 80. Just let him get out of office and let's never talk about him again. That's what I say. Also, if his wife has a child with Epstein, we got way bigger problems than I even knew about before. I know it sounds crazy. Google it.
You're referring to me. I think Sean and I have the same one, as that, when we served in Vietnam.
No, I typically try to shy away from this stuff, but and I see my subscribers dropping. I don't care. I mean, if you don't like me for who I am, I don't want you here anyways. But I will show you quickly before we leave today the information about potentially our president's wife having a child with the biggest pedo in the world that ever lived. Well, there are others out there, I'm sure, that we don't know about yet, but the most biggest case we've seen.
It was a very controversial war. And we came back. We weren't honored. We weren't greeted. That's fine. We did our duty. So we believe in veterans. We believe in having something that commemorates veterans. For example, look at the Vietnam Memorial, which was very controversial, the way it was built. And what it is there for is not the general on horseback, is not a cause which was very controversial. If for the common soldier, each name is there, and I have comrades there listed, and they're individuals. They're all equal in the eyes of their faith, of their country. Then you have 3 veterans of what we call grunts, common soldiers, and you have a woman's one. So this is the type of thoughtful process we need: veterans input, congressional input, and the input of those who are most affected by it. Not because some president of the United States wants some glory thing for himself. I want in the future kids to come, generations to come, to admire anything like we have in Washington. This is not the right thing.
All right. Thank you both very much. I appreciate your time. And obviously, as we know, you have this lawsuit, and we will see what will happen. Thank you both very much for taking the time to talk to me tonight.
New reporting from the New York Times about the cost of President Trump's reflecting pool renovations. The Times, citing internal government records, says the company given a no-bid contract to repair the pool is being paid an inflated and excessive profit margin far exceeding the norm. Their bid added at least $850.
No need to paint the reflective pool blue. It's just a waste of money. It's just a waste of money.
$50,000 to what a more typical contract may have cost, and the administration eventually agreed to pay the company $13.1 million, 7 times more than what the president initially estimated.
Dude, 10 of us with the right equipment could do that job in one day, and these people made $1.5 million off of it. It's the corruption and the way money gets pushed around, dude. It's just so insulting. It's so insulting.
Meanwhile, this is how the president defended the spending during a cabinet meeting today.
That's our money. That's our money. Just so you, this is American citizens' money.
It always leaked, and it was a problem, and a lot of things, and hundreds of millions was spent. The Biden administration and the Obama administration spent hundreds of millions of dollars trying to get it to work, and they failed. And we'll be spending, you'll give me a number, but I think it's a very low number.
Earlier, I spoke with New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold, who broke the story.
Oops,
so can you just walk us through what
was muted? Sorry. All I said was I think speaking of a low number, his fucking IQ is a low number.
What you found about the
Anderson Cooper's all old. I haven't watched CNN for a long time. I don't typically watch mainstream media, but this was, the most insight we've had towards this event.
Profit margins for this no-bid contract.
Well, what we found was that this contractor is charging the government 20% overhead and then another 20% for profit. And what we found was that the National Park Service itself, the people who are paying the bill, did their own analysis and found that both of those.
Just let me insert this. I know I'm all over the place, but many people believe, and there's tons of evidence to support this idea, that the attacking Iran holds dual purposes. Not only is it a big distraction from the Epstein files, but also the no bid contracts, because all this stuff that we bomb, then we're getting all these, no contest contracts are given for international contractors, and they'll go back in and they'll rebuild everything that we bombed for a nominal fee. It's crazy. It's crazy. It would be like a mechanic. You take your car into a mechanic and they just reach in and grab a bunch of wires and yank it out. and then some other guy walks over and says, "Oh, I could fix that for you for $1 million." Like it's right in your face how corrupt the finances are of our government.
Those were inflated. Both of those were excessive. The normal profit margin is like 6 to 12% usually, and so despite the fact
20% for overhead and 20%
more
I don't mind him. I don't listen to him too much, but he looks like a damn bald eagle right now. His hair is so white. It looks like he got scared.
And both of those are above norms. Park Service paid it anyway, though.
And how did they get away with doing a no bid contract? It's just because of the.
I like Don Lemon, of course. I'm biased to lemons, but I like Don Lemon. He has all the stuff that happened with him. He's got a YouTube channel and he is crushing it. I heard him say the other day, he was just like, I don't even know why I worked for CNN. I should have been doing this the whole time. Smulders said, I went to school with Becky Anderson, so I watch CNN from time to time. Oh, how cool is that? Very cool.
The length of time?
It's, the no-bid contracts are unusual. They're supposed to be unusual. Usually, if you want to find out who's going to do the best job for the least money, you go out and ask for multiple bids. In this case, they not only gave the bid only to one company, that's unusual enough, but they went a step further and did something even more unusual, which is that they gave them the contract before they'd even agreed on how much the contract was going to cost. They said, just start work now, and we'll haggle about.
Yeah, that's never a good idea. Hey, you're going to hire somebody to do a job and talk about how much you're going to pay them after they do the job? That's not how anything works. No, that's not any kind of way to do anything. Tara says, see, most Australians' money comes from mining taxes, not income tax. Oh, okay. So, yes, I am aware that Australia is wealthy in resources, natural resources. That's why our government biggest spending is welfare. I can't speak too much to Australia, although I am quickly learning that we think we got it bad. Shady said, I can't believe they arrested Don Lemon. That was the most ridiculous thing, dude. I love how he talked about it too. Like, I don't know if you guys would enjoy watching Don Lemon, but I get a kick out of him. He's funny. He seems way more relaxed. He access to important, knowledgeable people is off the scale because he's Don Lemon. Everyone knows who he is. So, I mean, you couldn't just start out as a YouTuber and have the access to these huge names, these people that are actually movers and shakers. So I love to see it. I love to see it. I love Keith Edwards too. We're actually going to look at a Keith Edwards video here about potentially Melania Trump having an Epstein baby. Listen, it sounds crazy, but doesn't it all anyways? Like, well, you could judge for yourself. This could be real big trouble for the White House, though, if it's true.
About it later, how much you're going to be paid. And of course, when they went back to haggle about it later, the government had lost all its leverage to try to drive a hard bargain. The work was already underway.
And the president has initially he took credit for choosing the contractor. He then later disavowed that. Has there been any clarification on how this company got the contract?
No, you're right. The president said initially, this is the company that fixed the swimming pools at my golf course in Northern Virginia. And, I knew them and I called them in myself. Later on, he said, oh.
You heard that, right? This is the company that fixed my golf courses. Yeah, it's illegal for him to do that, dude. And nobody's going to do anything about it. How fun, right?
Okay, none of that was true. I don't know these people at all. But we don't really know how this company got chosen. They're not a pool company. They do not advertise any expertise with pools. And they have no history of doing government contracts. This is their first ever government contract.
You also talk about the actual work that's being...
Jay Mako said, I didn't hear of the Don's arrest. Don Lemon, just to make sure we're not talking about the president, Don Lemon was arrested during a protest in which they went to a church and he was singled out as a media guy, really treated horribly, both for the color of his skin and for the activism that he was doing. Well, that's the debate. Was he working in the capacity of a journalist? I say he was. Some people say he was working in capacity as an activist, which he also has the right to do, by the way. I don't think anything's going to come of it. It's just a hit piece from the president because Don Lemon is outspoken against this administration, much the same way that what's his name, Jimmy Kimmel. Same thing, dude. We have this guy who's running this country that's more obsessed of trying to ruin people's lives that say that he's an asshole than worrying about homeless veterans or anything else. It's a real problem. Even if all the presidents in the past had this same internal thought process and the beliefs, at least they were smart enough or polite enough, I suppose, to just fucking lie to us. This dude doesn't even lie to us. It's wild.
Done what already they found out that they can't fix that needs fixing. What did you find?
So one of the most important problems with the pool, and this problem's been around for decades, is that there's concrete slabs that make up the pool's floor, and there's gaps between them that are usually filled in with some kind of sealant. Lots of water leaks out between those gaps, and then the government has to spend a lot of money to replace it. So the main thing that they're supposed to do is plug those gaps. And what we saw was that the first 2 times they tried, their method failed.
So the one thing that very much needs to be done, that's not going to be done.
Right.
So what is this company doing?
The main thing they're doing, and I think people have seen on TV, is that they're putting a blue waterproofing coating on the concrete slabs themselves, which people we've talked to said, well, that's not going to hurt, but the water doesn't leak out through the 8-inch thick concrete slabs. It leaks out. But
you know what? We're going down a rabbit hole. We don't need to know all this. It's a really simple thing. There's a lot of words to say. This asshole's giving no bid contracts to people that he's associated with in his business world before he became president. That's specifically illegal, but I mean, no one's going to do anything about it because the man also has an army of lawyers. I mean, really, if you're the president, you need 60 lawyers. Like it's all bad news. But let's get into some juicy conspiracy stuff because I really got a kick out of this story. It's terrorizing, and if it's true, oh my god. If it's true, oh my god. So I have to show you this, and this is just like I'll show you. It's better if I can show you. Let's see. So this is Keith Edwards, a very liberal guy, but also someone who really doesn't lie. He's not gonna run a story like this unless there's some kind of something to it. So I'm gonna show you. You judge for yourself. The title of this is Melania Trump's secret daughter revealed? ? It is a bit clickbaity, but you'll see. This guy also just did a great job on the Trump's abuse of power in the way he's with the Trump cell phone company and the Trump shoes. I mean, none of it's appropriate. None of it should be legal. But this is...
All right, it's been a minute since we talked.
This is bananas.
Talked about Melania Trump and the stories that have been circulating ever since her friend Amanda Ungaro has been deported by the administration. And we are now hearing that there very likely could be a secret daughter that Melania had with someone close to the Trump.
Hey, everybody, keep going. Keep going. If you're upset that I'm talking about this fucking pedophile president, then fucking unsubscribe and go put your fucking head back in the sand, dude.
Trump administration. Before we get into this, because if you haven't seen the old video, I'm going to link it below. You can get an update here. But I'm going to give you a brief synopsis on the characters involved in this. You're going to need to know in order to understand how this is all super connected. And of course, it all has to do with Epstein. Now,
a couple of these characters I talked about in my Epstein coverage, and we are going to be talking about that more here. I mean, maybe even tomorrow, I'll just do a daytime lunchtime 3-hour live stream about Epstein, because there's a lot of movement. There's a lot of things going on, more people exposed, more connections being made.
Paula Zimpoli is a special envoy for the Trump administration and a longtime friend of Trump's. Now, he was formerly a modeling agent and helped Melania come to the U.S. as a young model and get her visa. He also brought Amanda into the U.S. on what is being alleged, the Lolita Express, which is Epstein's plane. Zimpoli says he was the one to introduce Melania to Trump, and Melania.
And keep in mind, this is just investigative journalists putting pieces together. Not Keith Edwards, not this host investigative journalism, but he's just reporting on other people's investigations, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all.
Actually agreed to that in her book, and that happened in 1998 at what is called the Kit Kat Club. Now, Paula Zimpoli probably is saying that to help Melania, because there's also...
I could do a whole week on Paolo Zimpoli, dude. He's just a real creep, modeling agent tycoon, a real creep, dude.
Other reports that Melania was introduced to Trump through Epstein. So Zampoli could very well be doing Melania a favor to say, no, you can just say, I did it, I'll say it, and then the people have to report on it. Whereas there's other contradicting evidence that says that actually Epstein introduced Melania to Trump. Now, this is where Ungaro takes hold, Amanda Ungaro, who was Melania's best friend, and they hung out all the time.
There he is on the left, Zampoli, a real creep, dude. A real creep. Remember, he's the one that had his wife, who was best friends with Melania, had her deported by ICE. Yeah, he did. His own wife. And now she's back in her home country. It's amazing she's still alive. But she is just spilling the beans. Everyone's just trying to make sense of what she's saying and how much of it's true. She's obviously jaded and bitter, but also you could be really bitter and tell the truth. So I don't know, man. I'm following it, though.
Even during the holidays, there's so many pictures of them and the Trumps together. You're going to see a bunch of them right now. Now, after Paolo Zampoli cheated on Amanda, who never married Paolo, was deported by ICE. And that's when Amanda went beast mode.
Oh, wait. See, that confused me. So they weren't married. It was just the mother of his child. Yeah, how he couldn't have deported her if she was married. That gives her citizenship, right? Zampoli's not an American citizen, though, is he? Hold on.
And started to share all of the secrets. And that's what brings us to where we are today, where Melania has been trying to fight everyone and anyone who is trying to get the truth out there. And the truth has a way.
Okay, he does hold American. I guess if you're a billionaire, you just buy citizenship. It says the Italian-born businessman, former modeling agent, and diplomat. Paolo Zampoli holds American citizenship. He is an Italian-American dual citizen. So I'm assuming if you have dual citizenship and you're in the United States and you marry a woman from a different country, she gains citizenship from the marriage, I'd assume. But they weren't even married. Oh, that's so dirty, dude. It's so dirty. He had the mother of his child deported, and she, oh man, just Google her. She has been going bananas. I can't make heads or tails of much of it, but if 1% of what she's saying is true, dude, it's worse than we thought.
Of bubbling up, whether you want it to or not. Actually, Melania Trump has been suing people and been winning lawsuits, even against someone like Michael Wolff, whose lawsuit was actually thrown out by a Trump judge. And that happened here. It says a judge threw out Michael Wolff's lawsuit against First Lady Melania Trump on Friday, ruling that his contorted attempt to prevent her from suing him for $1 billion over his statements about her and Jeffrey Epstein is, quote, not how federal courts work. Judge Mary Kay Viscosi in federal court in Manhattan decided Wolff for an inappropriate level of tactical gamesmanship and said she will not be conscripted to oversee an abusively presented spat. Okay. Anyways, and just again, that was a Trump-appointed judge in New York who made that decision. And the reason why Melania Trump is doing that is because Michael Wolff shared information about her connections to Epstein.
If you don't know who Michael Wolff is, he's an entertaining chap. Maybe Google him if you want to. He's another one. There's something about the way he talks that's annoying, but he's a madman. He will just say what it is. It's something special. He's also the guy he's an author. He wrote books about the president and really it showed him in who he really is. I was going to say it represented him in bad light, but no, it just showed exactly who he was.
Okay, so she doesn't want this information out, but baby, we're going to talk about it. Okay. I want to like rewind. All right, now we're going to go back a couple of decades to when Trump and Melania first started talking. What's interesting, this clip hasn't been seen a lot. Look.
The internet is forever.
1,300 views. I think we're going to get this clip a few more views, where Donald Trump introduced Melania and said she's from Austria. Let's listen.
Good afternoon to you.
Well, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm fine. This lady right here next to
It's
you?
Melania Knaus from New York, from Austria.
Hello there, Melania. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Are you here to,
What's crazy is she's got the same goddamn accent. What?
Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm fine. This lady
It's
right
so funny, dude. This is hilarious. All the Trumpers are like, you got to assimilate. If you move here from another country, you got to learn English, man. Well, the First Lady has taken zero effort to assimilate to American culture. She's a fucking Russian mail order bride who took zero effort to assimilate to America. She married this asshole, and she doesn't even go to Washington, D.C. She lives in fucking New York City. She hasn't left New York City since 1985, dude. It's a joke. It's a joke. And I'm not trying to belittle her as a woman. It's just the fact of the matter, dude. It's insane. It's insane. What year was this? This guy looks like he's healthier, obviously. How old is he in this? 35, 40? I mean, she has the same accent from then, and she's been in New York City the whole time. Zero effort to be an American. It's bizarre. And it's the reason it's so bizarre, and I don't even mind it, but it's so hypocritical. These people with these dumb fucking red hats on, walking around with 3 different camouflage patterns on at the same time, are like, you got to assimilate, man. This is Mexicans, man. Like, get the fuck out of here. What about this lady, dude?
here next to
It's
you?
Melania Knaus from New York, from Austria.
Hello there, Melania. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Are you here to buy Churchill Downs by chance?
Well, I'm certainly looking at it. It's certainly beautiful. I tell you. I can't imagine a better investment. I'm here because.
All right, and then it just goes on where he bloviates about buying shit, whatever. It's very Trumpian. But there he is. Now, Donald Trump says she's from Austria. Of course, we know she's from Slovenia. But now this is where it gets interesting. There is internet speculation that there's a woman named Brina Knaus who is a Slavian model. Look at that. Who did that look like?
I don't know, man. See, it's impossible to tell. You know what I mean? Nowadays, with AI, and we have no idea. Filters, we have no idea. But I will zoom in so you can have a closer look. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. We should see a side by side. Well, he does. I think he does a side by side comparison. Also, I feel so terrible for this woman, dude. Believe me. I think obviously she's probably hiding in a hole right now. Interestingly enough, she was part of I think a hockey team, a national Slavic hockey team. I might be wrong. It's funny. It has her same last name.
And there's speculation that she perhaps could be the product of Paolo Zampoli and Melania. Now, interestingly, if this were to have happened, it would have happened.
Okay, so I just want to let you guys know I looked it up. I wasn't sure. Current status: Amanda Ungaro currently lives in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. She and Zampoli are reportedly still engaged in a bitter legal and custody battle over their teenage son, who remains in the United States. Yes, so Zampoli's a bad guy all the way around, dude. He has no redeeming qualities at all.
Happened in the time where Melania was there, and that would be around 1985 when she says she was born. And then when this person started to research Brina, the earliest known mention of her online is her having been on the Slovenian women's national basketball team at the age of 16 in 2001.
So that's what it was, basketball. That's kind of cool.
This aligns with the 1985 birth year. Now, shortly after, she was featured on a talent show similar to America's Got Talent as a member of a Slovenia girl band named BBT. This was her first foray into the public eye. This career was short-lived, and she started modeling in Italy. Now, could Paolo be the father? We actually don't know. Amanda Ungaro, who I talked about earlier in the video, was asked about this and said that I
do realize this is kind of down the beaten path of breaking news, but I found it interesting and a good way to end the live stream, I think, today. That pic doesn't look like Melania to me. Different nose. Yeah. Well, oftentimes, an infant will take on facial characteristics of their father as well. You know, sometimes it's fitty. I mean, imagine if Melania had a child with a man and the baby came out looking exactly like Melania and not like the father at all. That would be kind of weird, right? I mean, there are dominant genes, obviously, but that's not going to happen.
I had met her at one point at one of the events that Paulo hosted, and she said that she was a sweet girl, but she knew nothing about her past. Folks are saying, hey, we're just telling you what other people are saying.
I do realize that it's a bit of a stretch. I just found it interesting. Let's see. Let me zoom in on these so you can see them better. It's impossible to know. I guess it's impossible. I mean, unless somebody comes clean or somebody cracks the case, it's going to be impossible to know. I find it interesting in any case. There's something going on here. Like we'll likely never know. Somebody said in chat, this is going to turn into the Boys Town thing. That's my biggest fear. That if the 10 years from now, everyone looks back at this Epstein situation as if it was some type of conspiracy theory. I mean, believe me, it's possible, you know, and then they'll just make maniacs out of all of us. They're like, wait a minute. But no, I don't think there's, you know, enough similarities just by looking at them. I mean, you could really put any model in that same spot next to Melania and make a conversation. I'm not saying it's true. I promise you. I just find it interesting. DNA test. But I mean, who would administer that? You have to be you can't force someone to have a DNA test. I mean, it's not like there's any kind of crime being offered here or assumed here. So you can't just walk up to somebody and say, we need your DNA to see, you know. It would be really cool if she were to do it herself. You know, I don't know what her stance is on this. I have made no effort to look up her social medias or anything. I feel like that's an invasion of privacy. Just the idea and the timing of this scenario makes it potentially a way crazier story than we even imagined. And I know this is pure spec.
You're not saying it, but people are saying also, don't these two things look quite similar to you?
I am not going to lie, man.
We'll just leave it at that.
I'm not going to lie.
We'll leave it at that. Now, we do not know.
I'm not going to lie.
We do not know. Melania Trump, do not sue me. We don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I see distinct similarities, dude. I mean, it's undeniable in my head. But of course, I'm biased because I think all these fucking weirdos are connected. So what do I know? There is an abundance of emails and correspondence that describe Epstein as wanting to plant his seed from fucking seed to shining seed, dude. He wanted to make an army of him. He had this crazy Nazi idea that he's superior genetically. So he was looking for very specific women that in his head matched his significance in the way of having this superior DNA. It's no different than Adolf Hitler in that way. It's really not. And I think it's crazy that people aren't allowed to say that word or that name. It makes no sense to me.
That. Now, we do not know. We do not know. Melania Trump, do not sue me. We don't know. We don't know. But what we do know is that Paulo, Amanda, Melania, Epstein were all very close. We do know that Melania has done everything she can to try to keep the truth from coming out. She's actively suing people from just saying the basic things that we know to be true. And we also know, this is from Amanda Ungaro, that Donald Trump and his government are still very much so working together. Amanda Ungaro actually released a picture of her iPhone after doing a location search. It was actually
if you guys, I mean, it's such a rabbit hole that I can't spend too much time on it when covering Epstein stuff. But if you want to see some fiery shit, dude, check out Amanda Ungaro. Just Google her name, check out her social media. She is, the allegations are flying. And who am I to say they're true or not true? I mean, it's so far out there. I fear for her safety, as you can imagine.
Stated by the Aventura Police Department when she was arrested last June. But isn't it interesting? It currently shows it being located at Paulo Zempoli's Gramercy Place in NYC. This confirms coordination between Paulo and the police. And
I mean, Amanda's got receipts, dude. Hey, Rescue Rabbit.
Possibly the DOJ. Why would Donald Trump's government hand over a phone that doesn't belong to someone? I would assume it's because they want to do what they can to erase any information in that phone. And they want to make sure that that phone, if they cannot erase it, because these phones are heavily encrypted, is incredibly, there are multi-billion-dollar companies surrounding the act of just trying to get into a phone. Would Donald Trump's government spend all that time and money to get into a phone? Perhaps. Or would they just hand it to someone to know it's in safekeeping, the same person who said, hey, I'll tell you that I introduced you to your husband? That makes sense to me. And remember, this is a woman.
Hey, good gypsy, welcome in.
Who does not live in DC, who does not live with her husband. Where does she live? Well, here's Michael Wolff.
Where actually does Melania Trump live? Now, the papers that we have filed this week go right to the heart of this matter and challenge this idea that she lives in Florida. And point by point by point by point, we go over the evidence, including the evidence for all to see in Melania, the movie, that she does not live in Florida, and nor...
This is the author here. And that movie that she made, you know your boy watched it. I've never seen such a terrible movie in my entire life. It's such garbage. It's if you have respect for Melania and you're like, oh, you watch that movie and you won't anymore. I promise you. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's crazy. She's just acts like she's Heidi Klum and she's not.
Or does she live with her husband in Washington in the White House? But rather, she lives on a basically full-time basis in New York.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It did take an Australian to expose Epstein. You're absolutely right. Virginia Giuffre. And you know what? May she rest in peace, man. There's some real questions about how she met her end as well. That's a very touchy subject. I always grapple with, even with this Epstein stuff, discussing victims in a way that would open my chat up to criticize or speculate. I don't think it's proper. I am of the opinion that, there was something nefarious in her meeting her demise. Although, how can I argue with her father who believes the official story? He's there. So, I mean, it's, I don't know. I don't know. But she was put through hell, man, and people should have had her back, and they didn't. And well, technically, she was a dual citizen. She was an American. She held both citizenships. But yes, shout out to Australia for having balls.
Basically, she has never left New York. My lawyers have done this incredible job.
Printed out from your Substack. I'll just remind people. The whole filing you have posted on your Substack, how I'm just going to hold up. There is so much.
There is no.
Yeah, I just learned recently that she was home in Australia when she met her demise. For some reason I thought it was. I was conflating like the property that Ghislaine Maxwell had in the Northeast in the New England states. For some reason I mixed them up. In my mind, she was up there in like Connecticut or something, but it is in fact Australia. Does it say? It just says a farm in Western Australia, and the official story is that she died at her own hands. Her father, I don't want to say confirms or believes the official story. A lot of people have questions though. Just shortly before she quote unquote took her own life, she was hit by a car. I mean, there's all kinds of. It's just, if there are true crimers out there, they should really be digging on this instead of what they're digging on. There's a story here, I think. Although I have to respect the father because he is a, they are close and caring family. So I don't think he's going to just sign off to an official story unless that's what he actually believed. But I don't know them, so how would I know? A large part of me wants to just take the man's word for it because he would know far better than any of us.
On her part to hide where she is. And I think what's happened here is, clearly the White House wanted to frustrate any discussion of Melania and Donald Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. So they did their reflexive thing. They sent me a letter, we're going to sue you for $1 billion if you don't retract and hide under a rock about this. And they did this because they do it all the time and everybody capitulates and says, okay.
So this is a White House that is actively hiding the First Lady's location. This is a First Lady that is suing people for just exposing the truth. And this is a couple with a very gray history with very shady characters. It would not surprise me if there are secrets being kept from us that we would even find hard to believe. So we're going to keep following this. Amanda's still alive and well. She's sharing information, and we will update you as we hear more. If you want to be the first to hear it.
Notice he says Amanda's still alive and well. Everybody's thinking like her safety is in jeopardy. There's no question about that. Let's see, the husband treated her really badly. She was in an accident, but not life-threatening. Her mental state was just beaten. It seems to be the case, but you understand that, like, there's always I try to not lurch towards conspiracy, but with her in particular, with the significance of her coming forward and what happened afterwards, I think we could all agree that it would in fact make her a target, of elimination. Although, if you experience that much trauma in your life, you're also grappling with your own things. Even if you are getting trauma treatment for all of these things, you're not always victorious in that. Sometimes it's just too much for a human being to take, man. And it's we're gonna end with a tribute to Virginia. That's what we're gonna do today. I know it's a bit of a downer note to end on, but every time her name comes up, dude, I just get this feeling in my stomach like, what are we? What are we as humans here? What are we actually doing? What's important? She was important. That's what. And we fucked up. We dropped the ball. When I say we, I just mean humanity, Anyways, thanks so much for being here, guys. I will see you at 5 p.m. for a fucking fiery, blazing drama stream. I hope that you can reach me or meet me there. We might be doing some hop skipping over to Cousin Charlie's channel if I can wake him up. Guy's been sleeping for a week. If Rebecca Turner goes live and is doing any kind of drama, we'll hop over to Cousin Charlie's and we'll chant down Babylon together, right? All right, so I'm gonna pull up. This is tough to watch. So I don't know, may she rest in peace. I don't know. I'm not good at this kind of stuff, but this is a good story from CBS Sunday Morning, and this broadcast 7 months ago. And the title is Jeffrey Epstein survivor Virginia Giuffre tells her story in posthumous memoir. So we'll watch this and I'll check back and say goodbye to you. Take care of each other out there, guys. It's imperative. It's vital. No man is an island except for Island Man, and he's a rock star. Let's see here. I love CBS Sunday Morning. They always do a good job. Consummate pros. Tara says, I understand the conspiracy theories, but considering where she lived, yeah, and see, that's something you would have a better, vantage point of. I don't make much of that seriously. Appreciate the conversation. Thanks, everyone. Of course, Tara. Of course. We can't treat survivors like they've done something wrong. That's a huge mistake for anybody to do. And just look what's happening with the survivors that are still with us, dude. We had Pam Bondi that, refusing to prosecute and won't even turn around and look at the survivors on Congress floor, dude. That was one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever seen in my life. It's like, how could someone be that evil? I'll never understand it. Well, Pam Bondi got fired. Guess what? New job. She's working for some fucking new AI czar department at the White House, dude. These people fail upwards. Guess what? When we fail, we go crashing down, man. It's not okay. Anyways, I'm going to turn this into a fucking political rally if I'm on here for too long. So rest in peace, Virginia, and everybody have a great day. I'll check back in as soon as this ends just to sign off. If you're unfamiliar with this situation, it's a lot. So if you're not wanting to watch a heavy thing this morning, this might not be it, just to give you a heads up.
Warning, a few words of caution. The following story touches on mature subjects, and viewer discretion is advised. It's the story.
There, she even said it herself. So, people always give silly trigger warnings. This is truly triggering.
Story of Jeffrey Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre, whose posthumous memoir comes out this week. Here's Tracy Smith.
I was recruited at a very young age from Mar-a-Lago and entrapped in a world that I didn't understand, and I've been fighting that very world to this day.
If the tragedy of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking ring had a face, it might have been this woman, Virginia Roberts Giuffre. Before she died from suicide last April at the age of 41, she wrote an unflinching memoir, Nobody's Girl, with the hope it would be published in case of her death.
Do you think about that when you're walking around New York, that so much of it actually happened here?
I absolutely do. It's changed the city for me.
Co-author and journalist Amy Wallace spent more than 4 years writing with Giuffre, who's been celebrated for her honesty and questioned by some about the accuracy of her memories.
So as far as you could tell, her memory was pretty crystal clear.
What she always said to me was, I may not remember days, times, dates, but when you have a man raping you, his face 6 inches from your own, you remember that face.
Virginia Giuffre said Epstein's former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, recruited her to the sex ring in 2000 when she was a 16-year-old working at Mar-a-Lago, President Trump's resort in Palm Beach, Florida, and she was quickly immersed in Epstein's world of money and depravity. In this photo, taken at a party in 2001, Giuffre is the girl in the foreground. Maxwell's now serving a 20-year sentence for child sex trafficking and has reportedly sought a presidential pardon, something President Trump...
Yeah, if he pardons this woman, this country should just revolt and just flip every fucking table over, dude. She's the only person that's been prosecuted for thousands and thousands of child victims. The only person that's been prosecuted. What is her punishment? A fucking day camp in Texas, dude. She got moved from a minimum security place to almost no security. She has a pet dog. Everybody in that facility that's speaking up against her, because they're, remember, lowest security type of place. These are not violent criminals. These are not narco people. These are people who just had white-collar crimes, business crimes, things like that. No violence in their past. This woman trafficked thousands of children, dude. Thousands. Both boys and girls for decades. She's down there. They gave her a big umbrella, so when she goes out and walks her dogs for hours at a time on the lawns, she can hold it so the paparazzi doesn't get photographs of her. Fuck out of here, dude. Fuck out of here. You know what's happening? The people that are speaking up against her in that facility are getting sent to maximum security prisons when they're not even guilty of crimes that would fucking make that, proper. I've been trying for the last 2 weeks to try to get in touch with a couple of these people because I got their names. I want to see what happened. They didn't do anything wrong except they did some interviews with press about what's going on with her inside of there and how she's getting special treatment. She's got a pet dog. She gets better meals. She's basically being taken care of. It's almost as if she's in witness protection, although she's a wretched fucking demonic criminal. And everyone just, that guy that lost his mind in the airport was just like, everyone's just going about their business. Why don't you care? That's how I feel sometimes when I it's right in front of us, man. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt this.
Trump has not publicly decided for or against.
She should not be pardoned.
And explain why you sat there with Virginia for 4 years.
She did not just procure. She did not just keep the date book of what girls came when. No. This woman participated in the sexual abuse, and she should absolutely not be pardoned.
He knows what happened. I know what happened. And there's only one of us telling the truth.
Giuffre also famously sued Britain's Prince Andrew in 2021, to whom she said she was trafficked for sex 3 times, starting when she was 16. The prince repeatedly denied any wrongdoing, but settled with Giuffre the following year.
And it should be said, everybody's talking about this disgraced jerk off Prince Andrew or Andy. They are, I shout out to Great Britain. They are taking steps to pursue charges. You may have heard of him getting in some trouble a little while ago. I think a lot of people that were following the case just assumed that he was getting in trouble for inappropriate relationships with children. That wasn't even what he was being held accountable for. It was some weird insider trading bullshit. But in a lot of ways, those charges were brought along in order to basically secure him in a stagnant place while they pursue other charges. It's just like any other criminal. They have a big case against you, but they need to pin you down first while they build their case. And that's what's happening now. What up, Chief? Top of the morning to you.
Issued a statement saying he regretted his association with Epstein. But the rumors kept flying, and Andrew became a distraction to the crown. So just this past Friday, he announced he was giving up all of his royal titles, including Duke of York. And
remember, this is 7 months old, so much has happened since then. But this is the famous photo, undeniable, and they very interestingly cropped out. The thing about this photograph is you can see that the man's arm is around this child. It's weird that they cropped that out. It's really because that's been the biggest point of conversation, the placement of his left hand there. It's weird that they intentionally cropped that out. I wonder what that's about.
he, Virginia Giuffre wrote, was only one of many.
Did Virginia believe that the Epstein files contain the names of other men who abused her and maybe others that have not been revealed yet?
She didn't just believe it, she knew it. She knew what she'd told them. And some of those names are not public.
So authorities have those names in the Epstein files?
Presumably, if somebody kept them in a file cabinet in an efficient way.
Giuffre also believed there might be a trove of videotapes.
I don't know who that woman is at all, but we could all use an advocate like that in life, man. Holy shit. Well-spoken, pointed, fiery, courageous, all those things. That's an American.
Cameras in Epstein's homes. And in recent months, there's been mounting pressure from people who want the president to authorize the release of all of the Epstein files. Virginia Giuffre was one of them.
Did she mention President Trump at all in your discussion?
Oh, she absolutely did. She was a huge Trump fan because he campaigned on releasing the Epstein files.
But she never talked about him in any sense that he was involved in any of this?
No, he was not.
You guys remember that part, right? He ran. He ran saying that no endless wars in the Middle East and released the Epstein files. Now his army of lawyers is doing everything they can to not release the Epstein files while we kidnap foreign leaders and bomb the shit out of another country. If you voted for this man and you don't have buyer's remorse, you're un-American.
As far as she knew, and again, she was there for 2+ years, but as far as she knew, he was not involved in the ring of trafficking that Epstein was.
Hey, Queen Moomin, good to see you. Good morning. Yes, I just mentioned that. Really, the UK Great Britain is doing far more than we're doing here to, I really, in a big way, the noise that's happening in Great Britain is causing us to pay more attention. It's putting pressure on our government to get these things released. But we need more. I just fear that the energy for urging the release of these files is dwindling. And we can't have this just become another story, because this is connected to everything. The men that were perpetrating these crimes are the people that make decisions that directly affect our lives in every possible way. Our food, our social media, our resources, our fucking education system, all of it. It's terrifying. It's terrifying. Like when this originally went down, people were saying that, well, if we can't release the files, it would cause the collapse of. Let it collapse then. It should, if it's propped up on the backs of child victims, then it should collapse. But I digress.
Giuffre also writes that her sexual abuse ordeal started at home. She says her father, Sky Roberts Sr., started abusing her when she was 7 years old.
I had no idea about that. So how is her... Wait a minute. Her father has been outspoken about supporting the official narrative of her taking her own life. He victimized her too, or is there a stepdad situation? I'm so confused. Let me try to figure it out.
He didn't respond to our request for comment, but told Amy Wallace he never abused his daughter. Virginia's brother, Sky Roberts, and his wife, Amanda, say they believe her.
And you confronted him.
He knows what he did.
No, that's the same father. So I can't, he's not credible. He's not credible. He's not credible. How can I believe that? Who cares what he believes about what happened to his daughter? He victimized her himself, or potentially did. Of course, I would have no way to know for sure. This man seems convinced.
And you confronted him.
He knows what he did.
He denied it in the book. Amy reached out to him and he said, absolutely not. I would never touch my daughter. You don't believe that?
I believe my sister.
And as for
No, right, Cheese, this video is 7 months old. I'm just showing you this to let everyone know who Virginia is. You've seen everything, so you might want to come back next live stream.
Jeffrey Epstein, who was found dead in his New York prison cell in 2019 while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges, Virginia Giuffre said his abuse went beyond sexual assault, like ordering her to tuck him in at night.
So she would go in, she would pull the covers up. He didn't want sex, and she was instructed to stay with him until he fell asleep.
It just
let me read this. ArcXX says, sadly, someone just destroyed the approved permanent victims memorial near Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. Not only destroyed it, but dug up 5 crosses that were cemented in the ground and stole them. What the fuck, dude? What the fuck? I just hope technology can come along so they can do actual ground penetrating scans to find out if there are in fact foreign children born around or buried around Zorro Ranch. There's a whole story of that. There's also this strange incinerator on the property. I have to get back and do full Epstein episodes again. I hate it, man. You know what? I enjoy, sharing what I'm learning with you guys. But when I have these live streams, it just makes me feel fucking disgusted with human beings. So, but it's important that we keep talking about this. It really is.
Struck me because this is a young woman who wasn't nurtured all that much as she grew up, and here she's turning around and having to perform this nurturing act to her abuser.
Yes. And it's one of the reasons that Epstein and Maxwell said to her repeatedly, you'd make a great mother.
Giuffre went on to say that they asked her to carry a child for them and sign
Yeah,
away.
dude, this sicko, and he didn't make any secrets about it, dude. He was trying to make his own race of people, dude. It's insane.
Her parental rights.
It's like a modern Handmaid's Tale. And interestingly, that was the straw that broke the camel's back for her.
Years after Virginia Giuffre left Epstein, she was tormented by what she said she suffered at his hands. She married, moved to her husband's native Australia, became a mom and a voice for abuse survivors, but there was turmoil at home. Shortly before she died, she told People magazine that her husband, Robert Giuffre, physically abused her, but the courts granted him a restraining order and custody of their 3 children.
I mean, it's a sad, true. It's a sad, true thing that oftentimes victims who don't treat their trauma properly are victimized again in the future. Now, that's just from my own life experience, what I've seen firsthand with people that I've known. It's not a rule, and I'm not even sure statistically how many, but it does happen. It does. Let me just, this is a different subject, but it does correlate in some ways. There was a fiery debate about whether or not it's common for victims to then victimize, because I think that's something we've all been force fed. But in research and statistically, that's not true. That's not true. In fact, most people that are victimized as a child or at any time actually become stewards for others that are being victimized, far more so than actually victimized people themselves. For some reason, it's just like it makes sense in our heads that that's not always the case. In fact, it's very rare.
In a statement to Sunday Morning, Robert Giuffre's attorney said that since the case is still pending, Robert and the children were, quote, very limited in their ability to respond to the various unfounded allegations. Virginia's brother and sister-in-law say the loss of her children might have helped push Virginia over the edge.
And you know there are so many conspiracy theories out there, so I just want to make clear, are you absolutely sure that your sister took her own life?
I am. But I was with her in her final days.
See, I would 100% take this man's word for it. I mean, you could tell that he's emotionally connected. He loved his sister, dude. He wouldn't say that of her if it wasn't true. He would probably be her biggest advocate in getting to the bottom of it. Just keep these people in your prayers, man. Jeez.
I mean, I was the one that found my sister when she had.
I'm so sorry. She wrote in her book, "My goal now is to prevent the emotional time bomb that lives inside me from ever detonating again." What do you think happened?
The worst thing that could happen to a mother. Her children. She was separated from her children. And that is something that she couldn't bear. That was something she couldn't, I don't think any mother could handle.
Virginia Giuffre left behind an account of her life that's both illuminating and heartbreaking. A window into the mind of a young girl preyed upon by demons and a woman who fought them till the end.
Who was Virginia to you?
To me, always my protector. You know, she was her little brother, and but she just had.
Someone just sent me a video. I'm going to check it out after my live just so I can quality control. But thanks for that link you sent me. It looks like the accused, the potential daughter of Melania is on TikTok talking about it. So I can't do that now because I'm not set up for it, but we're going to revisit this, of course. But thanks for that email.
The strength inside of her that I think if you had the opportunity to meet her was just courageous. She was unlike anybody that you'd ever met.
I think it's always important to remember that she was also human and vulnerable and beautiful and funny and beautifully flawed and strong. She was just amazing. I think, like you said, there was nobody like her.
We've got to do something to prohibit these other thousands and thousands of victims to not end up like Virginia did, dude. I don't know how we do it. If you got any clever ideas, you let me know. I mean, it seems like a silver lining here. There are some hardcore, great advocates that are locked arms with the survivors. of Epstein and all of this. I just hope they can find some peace. I guess that's all we can ask for. Thanks for being here so much, guys. I'll see you at 5 o'clock tonight for a blazing hot drama stream. Thanks for being here. I will keep you updated once all the victims are recovered from the catastrophe in Washington State. I will put together a little memorial. I think that's the best way to do it because we all want to know. The time's not now. Let all the families get everything sorted out, and I'll put together a memorial video to share with you guys to show you who these blue collar workers just trying to make a living and provide for their family. Seems the company was skimping, and as a result, Longview, Washington, a town of 38,000 people, will never be the same. I don't know what kind of song to play out with this. It's kind of a low note. I do apologize for that. I guess knowing this stuff shouldn't make you feel good. So I think I'm going to let's shake it off, man. I'm gonna play a Green Day song, and I'm playing it at the end here in case they shut me down. I don't care. I don't care. The music's more important than any kind of whatever. And just not to make light of anything, but I think it's pretty funny that this Green Day song is called Longview, just like the town in Washington. Take care, guys. I'll see you at 5 o'clock tonight. Be good to yourselves. Be good to other people. Tell the truth. All that stuff. Let me get this up here. It's too big. Let's see here. Kind of a somber note. I don't like to end this way, but I don't really have much else to say on the subject. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for being here, guys. Green Day, Longview. Enjoy the rest of your day. Get outside and get some sunshine. Hydrate. Be good to your kids. Pet your dogs. Sinner out. Oh, sorry. You know what? Rescue Rabbit, thank you so much for the super chat. It says publicly tipping you for the morning content. Thank you. You're more than welcome. One more time, Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Breaking news stories. Friday, we'll consolidate and recap and do any updates to those stories that we cover the first 4 days of the week. And then on the weekend, it's a free-for-all. Maybe I can actually take a Sunday off. Maybe I can do a midnight stream and talk shit. I don't know. That's we'll figure it out. But the weekdays are what I'm focused on now. I think some structure here will help me obtain my goal of getting 5,000 subscribers. I lost a bunch today because there's, I guess, Trumpers listening. I don't give a fuck, dude. I'll get other subscribers that understand that the guy's a piece of shit. There's no problem there. And if you were offended, then maybe you should have been. I don't know. Take care of yourselves, guys, and take care of each other. Sinner out.
Tweet all my thumbs.
All right, folks, this next song is for Cheese. I got one more song for you. This one's for you, Cheese. Everybody make sure you're subscribed to Cheese, dude. He's got some funny videos over there. Have a look at who he is. He's got some videos that show a little bit about his existence, too. Check him out. This is Scorpions, Winds of Change. Sinner out. Man, we can really hope for a change, can't we? Bunch of shit's got to change, dude. Guess who's going to change it? We are. Sinner out.
Follow the Moskva down to Gonky Park, listening to the wind of change. An August summer night, soldiers passing by, listening to the wind of change. The world is closing in. Did you ever think that we could be so close, like brothers? The future's in the air, can feel it everywhere. I'm blowing with the wind of change. Take me to the magic of the moment on a glory night, where the children of tomorrow dream away in the wind of change. Walking down the street, distant memories are buried in the past forever. I follow the Moskva down to Gorky Park, listening to the wind of change. Take me to the magic of the moment on a glory night, where the children of tomorrow share their dreams with you and me. Take me to the magic of the moment on a glory night, where the children of tomorrow dream away in the wind of change. The wind of change blows straight into the face of time, like a storm wind that will ring the freedom bell for peace of mind.